Record and we are automatically recording. I believe it's not like some other things where it's 3, 2, 1. So from here on in, I'm not gonna
Oh,
hit anything. We're
okay,
here. Welcome to
sure.
MerlinCast. uh, this is welcome Zoro Fanboy 1, 2, 3, and I think he froze again, like right away. But now he's
Immediately frozen.
back. But now he's back.
Immediately frozen.
Like
Gotta
we
love technology.
I know it's great. Like we were talking about it beforehand about like, oh, we're gonna get this right, and we have gotten our signal pretty good, but we're gonna see how it goes.
Yeah, can see how it goes.
um, but anyway, man, you've been on the channel before,
Mhm.
but for some people that may not know, please introduce yourself, talk a little about yourself, take the spotlight, if you will.
Oh man, the pressure. Okay. How's it going, guys? Zoro here. I have the channel ZoroFanboy Reactions where I react to One Piece chapters, have discussions, and I plan to talk about other things as well. It's a new channel. I had issues with the old channel, copyright issues, which
Oh yeah,
unfortunately, yeah,
Dad
it's
told me
looking
about
like
that.
it's looking like it's over for that
What?
channel,
Whoa, whoa,
unfortunately.
whoa, 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 whoa! Actually, wait. We should have talked about this before the recording. What the?
Well, it's even better. It's even better. Get the live reaction of your reaction to my
Wait, wait.
situation. Yeah.
Dad told me you were having issues, but wait, your main channel's done. What happened? Where's the new channel?
Oh, all right. Let's. If you don't know the story, okay, here's the story.
Tell me the
So
story.
one day I wake up, make myself a cup of tea, relax by the patio. Still sleep. I kind of wipe my eyes. I look. I have 112 copyright strikes.
112 copyright strike.
Excuse me. What was that?
112 copyrights.
Oh, that's just the beginning.
What,
I
what
wish.
the,
I wish it was just 112, Merlin. I really do.
what the heck happened?
So,
Oh shit.
uh, I just like go on Twitter and like post about this, like what the heck is going on, and I go to look at it, and every single copyright strike is from the same person. It's from Viz Media LLC.
Viz Media,
Which,
okay.
okay, Viz Media. Why would they take down one of my videos, especially videos? Some of these videos were from 2012, 2013, just to show you how old they were, and contained no copyright at all. They're just videos, me behind the camera, talking about manga or reacting to a chapter without showing any panels, right? So I was like, this is weird. I'm going to counter them all. It took me about 6 hours to counter, because going through anyone doesn't know, and I hope you don't know about this. Going through the counter copyright system is a nightmare. Even doing one takes a few minutes. So I had to go through over 100. Overall, it took me like 5 or 6 hours to do it. A nightmare. Thankfully, I had a lot of people to help me out with it. But next thing I know, a couple days later, my strikes are up to 220. They went through another wave of strikes. And then I had to counter those. Eventually, I learned that the reason why Viz Media struck down my channel is mainly because in a couple of my videos, literally only a handful of my videos, I linked the scan to the chapter. I linked it in the description.
Okay.
Yet they decided that 212 videos, 95 or 99% of which did not contain any links, were okay to strike down. So I've been in this battle with them, and a lot of my videos have been, brought back to normal, thankfully. But the unusual truth and the really pathetic truth about YouTube is, even with that many strikes, even if 200 of them get, put okay and back to normal, if you get three strikes, you're out. It's it. So even if 99% of the videos that I counter are brought back to normal, everything is cleared up, it doesn't matter, because they're continuing to strike me, even to this day. And the ones that I don't get brought back to normal, that there have been a few already, that I don't understand why, but they haven't been brought back to normal. That's it. I get 3 strikes. That's all I can do. That's game over. So,
all right. Well, this is a great conversation, actually, because okay. Well, first of all, I'm sorry. That's, dude. Look, that is like the kind of thing that's like one of those YouTube scenarios I always want to avoid. Like when I got one copyright strike on one video, like years ago, I was like, no, and I had to like get rid of something, because the truth is, I've only had to deal with it a couple times, and I just hate it when it gets blocked. Like, even if it doesn't get a strike, if I work hard on a video
Right.
and I can't use it, it always kind of saddens me. But
There-
so
yeah.
honestly, man, when I do, I really like to use footage when I'm talking about something,
Right.
and I try to heavily edit it. But sometimes you have to go through the process, and I don't want to deal with it. So I just say, you know what, I'll just use stills or whatever. So that's why a lot of my videos are slideshows. Um,
Right.
because I'll be honest, I like my channel. I have history with it. I want to try to keep it. But man, that's the thing. They can come after you for really minuscule little
Yeah. Putting a link
things.
in the description to a website that's not banned or anything. It's not on the black market. It's just a website.
Well,
But I mean, I understand where they're coming from to a certain
yeah,
extent. But if they would strike only the videos where they had the links, that's one thing.
yeah,
But
yeah,
they made an active effort. What I believe is the case. I don't have any evidence of this, but what I believe is the case, right?
sure.
Is Viz Media is cracking down in general when it comes to people who are reacting to the early chapters. Because
Okay.
anyone who doesn't know, One Piece, the early chapters come out, the illegal scans, as they say, come out like on Thursday or Friday, and the official chapter comes out on Sunday or Monday. I forget which with. And I react to the ones on Thursday or Friday because if you react to the earlier ones, you're bound to get more people that are watching your videos than if people are waiting three days because then the hype dies down and people
Sure.
don't care as much. So that's why I react to it. And plus, it works out with my schedule a lot more. Sundays I just can't do it.
Hmm.
And Viz is like been vehemently actively going to try to take down anyone that they can when it comes to anyone who's potentially showing clips or little images of any kind, even though like the majority of content for some of the people might be just them commenting in like the fair use argument, right? But regardless, I've been careful my entire YouTube life. I've been on YouTube since like at least 2012. It's been a long time. I feel old. I really do. And it's like I've been super careful, like absurdly careful about copyright to the point where I don't take any risks. And I in my 8 years or so of being on YouTube, I've had maybe 2 or 3 strikes total the entire time, and then one day I get 100, and then that's it. It's really made me think about the fact that you cannot really put all your eggs in one basket if you really care about making content.
That's true.
That's why I moved to Twitch a little bit. So I'm doing Twitch stuff as well now. I'm doing some gaming stuff on Twitch as well as doing some discussions and other stuff. And honestly, it's a lot better. You can use music and stuff in Twitch. They might mute it after the fact, but they're not going to take down your channel for it. I like the system. It's really cool. But I also have a backup YouTube channel that I now have my subscribers building up. I'm almost at 1,000. So, check out ZoroFanboy reactions. Shameless.
Well, yeah, I'll put it in the description. I didn't even know about it. I'll sub to it.
Yeah, man, it's crazy.
Wow. Well, that's good. At least you're getting people supporting you on and getting that. What are you going to do on that other channel?
Honestly, it's a blessing in disguise. Like, it really sucks on its face value because I just got the subscription button, and all that stuff. But with my old channel, you know what I'm saying? It is what it is. My new channel, it's a chance to kind of start fresh and to kind of building up an audience from the ground up, and try new things. So I'm actually okay with it. And my time on Twitch has been great too. So this could be a blessing in disguise. Twitch ain't getting, So Viz is not getting rid of me anytime soon.
Okay, well that's good at least. What are you planning to do on the new channel? Actually, you said other content, just in reaction.
Yeah. As of right now, I'm uploading much more frequently than I did on the original channel. I'm still doing mostly One Piece content, but I'm gonna do other discussions as well. It depends. It really depends on what I'm feeling like talking about because my motto has always been on YouTube. You talk about what you care about. There's a lot of channels out there, I'm sure that just talk about things because it's popular or talk about things because it'll get them views, but I never believed in that. I've always been a One Piece fan, even when it wasn't the most popular, so that's what I talk about. But if there's something else that I really like, I'll talk about it too.
I agree with that model. I tried a couple times to like force myself to do similar things about something I didn't care about, and I'm like, it takes more energy and I feel dishonest and I don't like it.
That's why for the longest time, I'm sure you might remember, I used to do the Walking Dead and I used to do Game of Thrones, but I didn't react to the last season. I didn't review the last season of Game of Thrones.
Well,
I'm assuming you can guess why.
Well, it was amazing. I mean, you would just blow your mind.
Oh yeah, it was just pinnacle of entertainment. Yes, of course. You watched it, of course. I'm assuming, right?
Oh yeah, of course. Uh, well, I kind of I don't think I hated it. I didn't hate certain things about it as much as
Okay.
some people did.
Okay.
Like, all right. Well, do you mind? All right.
Let's do it. No, let's go.
Well, okay. It's been a while because I think it came out like last year, right?
Yeah.
Um,
Oh,
I Okay. Uh, I didn't mind Bran the Broken being king at the end.
I didn't either.
I thought that was kind of cool, and I know a lot of people were like crapping on that, but like I liked the ideas of this kind of the kind of like the early beginnings of democracy, where the nobles kind of picked the king. I liked what they were going for. I liked the ending of the council. That was kind of nice. I thought that was
Right.
decent. So there were things about the final season I liked.
For sure.
But there were two things, probably you probably agree, there's two things that I really didn't like, big plot points. What do you think my biggest issues were with that? I
The
should
Night King. I'm assuming the Night King conclusion.
That's one.
Um, hmm,
Other one's a little more
Jon
character
Snow.
focused.
Jon
Uh
Snow.
yeah, John's fine.
Maybe Jamie.
I guess Jamie got kind of screwed over too.
I'm curious what the second one is. Tell me, by all means.
Well, I thought Daenerys was kind of sabotaged in a lot of ways.
Oh yeah, that hurt too. Her character was completely. I mean, I hate how people say like, "Oh, her evilness was foreshadowed since season whatever."
I'm like,
There was no buildup. It was 0 to 100.
yeah, yeah. Like I totally agree. Like I mean I feel like it's one of those things. I talked about it a lot with some people when it was happening because it was just constant hate.
Right.
I do agree there were sprinkles of it throughout the show that okay, maybe she's inherited some of her grandfather's madness, okay, but watching the show, at the end of the day, this person is trying her best to be the best queen. She made her whole career off of freeing slaves, and
Right.
and that's why everyone loves her because she's so great. And then you're like, no,
Right.
I'm just gonna burn all these people. I'm like,
Yeah,
no.
makes no sense. And there was no like tactical advantage. If there was a situation where she was put in where she would have to kill people in order to get the queenship,
Mhm,
she has to make that tough decision, like either like escape or get out. You know what I'm saying, and give
mhm.
up the queenship or kill the people and get it. I can understand that struggle more, but there was no justification for killing those people. There was nothing there other than she's got the blood of her father. Like, get the fuck out. It's so stupid. Oh, can I curse, by the way? I tend to swear like a sailor sometimes. So do you want me
Oh,
to cut
it's
that back?
I mean, okay.
I'll cut it back.
No, no,
I
well,
can be
Dead,
Disney if you want
no,
me to.
no, no. Dead cursed quite a bit. I want you to be genuine. I mean, if this thing doesn't get
Okay.
monetized because we curse too much, I don't care.
Okay.
Whatever. But
Well, to be fair, we've been pretty good up until this point. So
no, I don't think they go through and look over everything.
true.
But like,
Right.
as
I
long,
get you.
you know, match me. That's all
Back
I'm
to the
saying.
YouTube copyright nonsense. You can't say a naughty word without getting your video
Well,
taken.
all right, we're gonna come back to that, but the Game of Thrones thing has diverted me because I guess talking about the last season of Game of Thrones makes me happier than that. I don't know if that's.
No, let's do it. Let's
um,
do it.
but yeah, the other thing was the Night King, and I think both of those, man, and you probably agree. The biggest issue was just pacing. I mean, if it had been another season or something, I wouldn't even probably had a problem with any of this. But it was just way too condensed, man.
They shortened the season down. It's really kind of sad because D&D, the people who write the show, they essentially cut down the season. Like HBO offered, as I'm sure you know, to have multiple seasons to finish off Game of Thrones, like more seasons, potentially 2 or 3 more seasons.
Hmm.
But they were greedy and they saw the Star Wars check around the corner.
Oh.
And they said, no, let's cut it back. Let's make it, we're done with this, right? And then it turns out that their Star Wars show got canceled. So I'm like, brilliant. Because probably Disney saw how people felt about them after the last season, and they're like, okay, that's just a hot potato we don't want to touch. You know what I'm saying? So that's just desserts. I'm very happy about that. I'm being really honest. But the Night King, you're absolutely. It's a pacing thing, and it's one of those things where you get so much build up over so many seasons, and then over the course of a couple episodes, through one ridiculous act, the Night King just goes away with.
Just one little dagger.
I don't have the issue with Arya being the one to actually kill the Night King. That's fine. Just the
Uh-huh.
way that they went about it was just
What
so silly to me.
was cartoony.
It was so
And I
ridiculous.
mean, and it was very clear. Like, I'll be honest, I'm not an expert on the lore, but I assumed from watching the show that the Night King and the White Walkers were like a race, like they were a limited group of them, but they
Okay.
were like their individual race, right? Like a handful of them.
Uh,
Whereas the zombies, like the regular walkers, they were connected, but there's clearly like a class difference, you know?
from what I understand, and I'm sure I'm wrong, but from what I remember about the show and what I've seen in the books,
Okay,
I've read a little bit, but it's been a while.
me too.
Um, the Night Kings or the race of the Night, like it's not only the Night King, it's just like his main peoples, right?
Yeah,
Whatever you want to call them, the whites or whatever you want
the
to call them.
whites, the wall. I don't know, whatever they were
Right,
called.
right. I believe the children of the forest, those little like elf people that we saw a couple seasons back,
Hmm.
created them to fight against some other against like men. But what happened essentially, I could be wrong, like I said, but men were encroaching on their territory.
Yeah.
So they captured some of the men and used their magic to turn them into these creatures to fight against the men. But they got out of control, yada yada.
So, all right, but okay. So, all right, here's my equivalent. I've been getting into Lord of the Rings a lot again lately. So basically, the Night King is essentially the Witch King of Agmar, like, and they're all the Nazgul. Okay, they're the ring wraiths.
Okay.
That's so my I always thought it was like that, where you're right. There was a group of men that the fairies changed to fight other men,
Right. Right.
but
The first men, I believe they were called.
the first men.
Right.
But I thought that they had the ability to turn people into zombies, but they were still the original changed ones, like they were individuals. I didn't think it was one guy who you
No,
took him out.
They were individuals, but they have the ability to turn
Yeah,
like into those little zombie.
yeah.
guys.
Okay, so I'm right about that. I
Yeah.
I did not see anywhere in the show, and I mean maybe it's somewhere in the books where if it's the classic, you kill the queen bee, everybody else dies. I mean that was clearly just a lame. Let's wrap this up.
Yeah, that was that was
because
a
because
Deus Ex Machina, yeah.
I was like, okay, first of all, I mean I wanted a better confrontation with the main villain of the show who's been built up.
Right.
He's so cool, right?
He didn't
So
say anything, right? He didn't say anything the entire
no
show.
lines. He had
No
no
lines.
lines of dialogue. Not he just looked at Jon Snow angry, like you're supposed to face off anyway.
Right.
I'm like, okay, fine. He gets taken out. What about the other dozen guys? They're other guys.
Right.
They don't just automatically.
Exactly. Yeah. He's not the one king to rule them all. Like he is, but he's a leader. But it doesn't mean like it doesn't make sense why the other ones would disappear as well. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's a good point.
I just thought that was really really lazy.
Oh yeah. And
But
it's insinuating that the Night King was the one that personally turned every single one of them because I'm sure the other ones also turned a couple babies or two. You know what I'm saying? So I
yeah,
don't
yeah.
get
I
it.
mean, because think about the logistics. You're the one guy, and you have to physically touch every single dude to make your army.
Right.
No, that's not how that works.
It's just stupid because of the weakness that we just pointed out. That's like Death Star mechanics weakness. All right, that's just ridiculous. As much as I love Star Wars,
Well, look. Well, Star
or
Wars is not.
love Star Wars.
We got to talk about that too. That's a whole.
Okay,
nother-
okay.
Okay, we love because Star Wars. No, if anybody that ever claims that Star Wars was perfect doesn't know.
Oh, it definitely wasn't.
It's fine. But anyway,
I remember the Return of the Jedi. Let's not act
hey,
like that.
hey, I like Return of the Jedi. Anyway,
Well,
all right. What wub nub? Um, anyway, yeah, man. All right. Here's the thing. I feel like with Game of Thrones overall, even the last season, I
Mhm.
feel like a lot of the people behind it, the actors and a lot of the filmmakers, were doing their best with what they had. And
I put no blame on the actors. No blame at all.
I think they really tried, and I think for what we got, it was decent. But it's funny. Actually, that's a great question I want to ask you because you know how like we were exposed to a lot more media now, and you get like a really big sense of the hype that things have.
Of course.
Now, take for instance like a great show like Sopranos, Breaking Bad. I feel like these are shows they end. There might be some controversy, but people are still talking
Especially
about.
the Sopranos.
Well, that's a conversation too. But like they're still hype and they're still like loved, and people we still have discussion to this day. Game of
Yeah.
Thrones was the biggest thing ever on TV for like how many years, and then I'm telling you, man, like within a month after it ended, silence. No one talks about it anymore. And I'm like, That's so weird to me. This
Only in discussions like this where we regret on how like problematic the last season was, and it really wasn't only the last season if we're being truly honest. Ever since the book material ran out and they had to strictly stand on their own 2 feet,
oh
um, they just completely dropped the ball. And you know, George R. R. Martin is very brilliant. You can hear it in some of the interviews. The guy
oh.
just lives and breathes fantasy.
Yep.
It's his everything.
He also seems like one of the nicest guys ever.
He really does. He really does.
He's really cool, actually. No, and the cool thing about it is with him, I suspect, is that the interesting thing is I think like a bunch of books are written before they decide to finally pick it up, and
Right.
he's definitely not a guy that works under pressure. I mean, he wrote a lot of other stuff other than Game of Thrones.
Right.
He came back to it, so it's like I don't know. I think maybe they just didn't want to wait. But to be honest, I'll confess something to you.
Okay.
The last couple seasons of Game of Thrones, I was not as into. Like
Of course.
I think like season, what was it, 6 or 7? Like, I don't know. One of the last ones, I completely forgot everything that happened. I'm like, what even happened this season? I don't remember. So I
And
felt like it was.
it's one of those things where it's not just, you know, in terms of how the plot is written. It's something as minute as the interactions between characters and their dialogue. Like if you look at some of the lines and some of the great dialogue moments that Tyrion had earlier on in the story and some of the things later on, but she's my queen. Like I mean that was Jon Snow too. But they just like Tyrion is one of the most brilliantly written characters, and you know they adapted him perfectly. Peter Dinklage is incredible, and he just owned that role. And you can just see like seasons 5, 6, 7, 8. You can just see how they just squandered his potential, completely misused him. He didn't have as many witty lines. He did a lot of idiotic things, which in character doesn't make sense because he's brilliant. That's his thing. He's the tactician. He's brilliant, yet he doesn't know basic things. It just strikes me as unusual. It just goes to show like how the difference between a great writer and a mediocre writer can really change a story, even with great source material to give you like a push. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and I'm sure writing for TV is different than writing books as well. So I mean, but
some challenges.
And it does, everything does, and of course. But I think another thing too, like you said, the lack of source material to draw from is the problem. But if there hadn't been, I feel like there was probably some frustration behind the scenes. Martin walked away. He helped them with the show. He wrote and direct like some episodes. Like he was involved a lot more early on too.
Sure.
I think if they had a Full Metal Alchemist situation where they got the author's blessing and said, "Hey, you can do this," like I think there might have been more of it if it was more involved. It might have been better. Maybe.
I don't know. They didn't seem that invested. It's clear based on what I was saying before about them wanting to leave for the Star Wars cash that they were only interested in those dollar bills. You know what I mean? If I'm being
Yeah.
honest, if they wanted to, they could have waited for the new book to come out. They could have put Game of Thrones on hold, but it was such a cash cow. They just rushed out every season that they could as fast as they could. And you know, from a business standpoint, I don't blame them, but
yeah, I mean, no, you're absolutely right. You got to look at the economics of the product. Do you think if they had put it down for a couple of years that the hype for the show would have been strong enough that people would have still come back to it?
oh yeah, are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? That would only build up the hype more. That would make more anticipation, especially after like a great season like season 4.
I guess you're right. People were always like, "Oh man, when's Game of Thrones? Oh man, it's gonna be a year and a half.
Like
Oh
we had to
man."
wait a year and a half for the last season. I mean, this is what we got.
And people still did come. That is true. Maybe maybe they didn't have enough faith in their audience either.
Look,
I don't know.
I'm just saying. Like I waited how many? I waited a decade for Kingdom Hearts 3.
All right. All right, I confess, all right. I don't really know. I didn't play much Kingdom Hearts. My girlfriend like goes through. All right, this would happen. Okay, okay. All right.
No, go.
I'll tell you a little about what I've been doing. I feel like I got a bunch of side conversations. Help me keep track of them.
Okay, no, we're good. Go ahead.
Okay. Well, basically, I'm not like a hardcore gamer or anything, but one of the things I've been doing on my free time is trying to go back and play classic games I never played or completed or trying them again. I'm trying. I got so many I want to play. It's like overwhelming. But Kingdom Hearts.
You should try to stream them. I would watch that.
Well, all right. Well,
Kingdom Hearts.
I'll ask you. All right. Hold on. I'll ask you a question. All right. Well, basically, there are some things that I didn't have a lot of interest in because I didn't really grow up with Kingdom Hearts. I saw some of it. My sister played some. So, all right. My girlfriend had a lot of hype for it. She's like, "Oh, Kingdom Hearts 3 is coming out." So, okay, well then you'll get the game. But if I'm gonna watch you play it, because sometimes that's what I do with her, I'm like, "Well, I'm not gonna understand what the hell's going on in Kingdom Hearts 3." And she's like, "I'm
Right.
not going to either." And I played half the games, so we're gonna try. So we were gonna try to go through them all, and we started at Kingdom Hearts 1.
Okay.
Give you some mini reviews. Kingdom Hearts 1, I liked it. It was good.
Okay.
It was good, solid, cute, wholesome Disney meets Final Fantasy. Cool.
Do you play the Final Fantasy games as growing up or not?
Some of them. I haven't played them all.
Which ones have you played? I'm just curious.
4, 7,
Of course.
a little bit of 8, and 12. That's it.
Okay.
So that's another one. I got to go back to.
Say, the Kingdom Hearts 1, when you get the random boss, like the question mark boss, like who's this, and Sephiroth comes down from the sky. That's like one of my all-time favorite memories as a kid growing up playing games.
Everybody loved that, and I know that Kingdom Hearts was an introduction to Final Fantasy VII for a lot of people too.
It was for me.
Oh, there you go.
I never played Final Fantasy. In fact, the first Final Fantasy I've ever played was the remake I'm playing now.
I saw that. I saw that. Yeah. Okay, I'll have to ask you about that too, because we've been going through that one as well. Sure. All right, where am I going? Oh yeah, Kingdom Hearts 1. We played it. I liked it. We played a couple of the little things in between that, which were okay. And then
game one, the Chain of Memories. Is that
game? Chain of Memories, and the one about the kid. We learn about his clone background. The fucking who's Roxas. We learn about him, how he was made. I was like, that was okay. Again, kind of weird. Kingdom Hearts 2. I'm like, the fuck's going on? And then we just stopped. So so it's like it gets so convoluted. So are you happy with? I heard some. I mean,
the story of Kingdom Hearts is convoluted. That's
I've heard. There was one great YouTuber I watched. I didn't get the whole way into it because I didn't want to spoil myself. But he's like, look, he was talking about the Kingdom Hearts franchise. He's look, I like them, but the story is terrible. The story is terrible.
It is because it was originally one game.
Mm-hmm.
Who knows if they were looking for a sequel? And then it made a lot of money. It got a lot of waves. And like, okay, let's milk this for all it's worth. And all these offshoots come out. These Game Boy games come out. Honestly, like, I know this is gonna be, kind of like blasphemous for a lot of people out there. But like, besides 1, 2, like Dream Drop Distance, and maybe Chain of Memories. I don't really care for any, like most of the other offshoots game. It's characters I don't care about. It's storylines I don't really care about. It's just a way to milk this franchise, and yeah.
The one we stopped at was the one where it actually was the prequel. Which one is that? It was the one that with Tara.
That's the one that people really like. I forget the name of it.
I found it interesting because it was kind of cool to see like the beginning of the key. Like it's expanding the lore of the different. I hated the one. I think it was Tara, and I think he's kind of what broke me because he literally went up to like the evil queen and Snow White and Maleficent, and he's like, "Hey, how can I help you? Take this girl's heart and stab it. Bring it." Like, okay, like you're helping. like he's literally helping all the Disney villains who are clearly
evil.
The epitome of evil. I'm like, why are you God. I mean, it was cool, but it was like, wow, this guy is
not the brightest.
No, but I liked some of the story despite that. But I'm like, man, that was hilarious.
That's the offshoot game people like the most. I can't think of the name for the life of me right now.
All right,
I don't know why, but yes.
Let me ask you one question because I've only ever really been interested. I wanted to at least get her to play up to one game because I appreciate going to the Disney worlds. I think it's cool.
Yes.
What is the game where you go meet Quasimodo? Where do you go into the Hunchback of Notre Dame?
Quasimodo is Dream Drop Distance.
Okay, because I was always interested to see how they would make that happen because I thought with the Heartless.
I'm going to be honest with you, Merlin. As much as I'm going to be defending Kingdom Hearts here, that was one of the worlds I least enjoyed. I least enjoyed that world probably because they just kind of
do they gloss over shit?
Shoot it in. No, they shoot in that world. Totally shoot in that world.
Oh man!
Like, there are cutscenes where like you're running through the streets and there's nobody. Like it's not populated.
Oh man, really? No NPCs or anything in France, in Paris, or whatever?
No. Like they just complete. Like it's not the greatest. It's not very great.
Man, that sucks. Because like that's like my favorite Disney film. So I was like, it would be interesting to see how they could integrate that. And you're saying
Hellfire is the greatest Disney villain song of all time.
Well, yeah.
Say that, just saying.
And Frollo is such a great villain, it's just the fact that Disney got away with that is just stupendous. And Now for the freezing. Let's see how long it takes him to come back. We'll see if this gets edited or not. I'm gonna do some stuff where Dead was kind of trying to, make some less dead air. I think he was talking about some game last time. I'll have to check and see what that was. I'm just kind of stalling for time now. I wonder how. Let me see. Wait, is he back? Okay, yep, he's back. He's back.
I'm gonna try to directly connect my internet.
See if that works. Oh yes. Okay. Okay. Oh no. Oh no. You're pulling out.
I got contraptions and gizmos. Hold on.
See the dedication. He's willing to make this work. This reunion.
I need to make this work. Let's see if I can. Hold on one second.
It hasn't been too bad. I will say that it hasn't been too bad. But we're trying to make it work. Honestly, so far connection's been pretty good. I don't know how long we've been recording. Probably like I don't know. Probably like a good 45 minutes or something.
Yeah, about.
Yeah, so we're doing pretty good. I mean, it's not bad. I could hear you fine.
Goodness, where did I put that? I got it. Oh, I found it.
Yes. Yes. Technology.
We're gonna just MacGyver this. Make it work.
All right, people.
Reference young people will really understand.
Yes. Yeah. Well, they won't. Back in the day, I mean, I remember when dial-up was pretty much the only thing. Yeah. Younger people won't know what that is.
Dial-up?
Yeah, they won't know what that is.
Oh, the the struggles of dial-up.
The struggles of early internet with like AOL and stuff through the phone line. Oh man, that was horrible sound.
All right. I'm directly connected. We'll see if that helps, matters, or.
Well, I'll tell you what. If you actually look like you're even clearer now, but if it happens again, well, no, it's me. Okay. It has to be. But what were we talking about? Oh yeah, Kingdom Hearts.
Hunchback in Notre Dame. Yeah.
Yeah, man. So they shoot in that world.
They really did. The cutscenes were super lame.
Oh. Man.
Yeah, they really just kind of shoot it. I mean, to be fair, Dream Drop Distance, while it's fun, that's the issue I have with a lot of the later Kingdom Hearts games. When in the earlier ones, it felt like the world was like, alive to a certain extent, that you're actually visiting these Disney worlds. It felt a little bit more immersive.
Mm-hmm.
And in Kingdom Hearts 2 too as well. But some of the offshoots in Kingdom Hearts 3, you're just visiting Disney worlds just to visit Disney worlds, and Disney's basically advertisement for movie. Watch the movie. Watch the movie. And that's my main issue with Kingdom Hearts 3, if we can get a little bit off topic here.
Go ahead.
My main issue with Kingdom Hearts 3 is, number one, they took out all the Final Fantasy characters. Which was the biggest problem for me, because what made it great was the beautiful mixture of having the Final Fantasy characters, having them show up at random times, and you being, oh, I know you're from that game, and it's exciting. And having that mix with Disney and having a nice balance. But because I guess Square is not quite on the same level as Disney put its foot down, is like, no, it's a Disney game now. And that kind of ruined the experience. And in addition to that, a lot of the worlds suffered because of that. For me, one of my favorite memories.
Oh no. I'm so eagerly anticipating what his favorite memories are. It's like cuts out at all these really great moments. One of my favorite memories is. He's back again. Hello, hello. One of your favorite memories is. I can hear you.
Oh my God.
One of your favorite memories is.
Sorry to leave you with a cliffhanger.
It was good.
One of my favorite memories as a kid was the reveal of Auron in Kingdom Hearts 2.
Ooh.
Auron is a Final Fantasy X character, which you said you haven't played, which you should play.
I'm sorry. I forgot. That's one of the ones that I played through with her. So technically, I've gone through it. So, and you know what? I'll let you know. It's funny. The two Final Fantasy games that I've gotten the most hate about over the years have been 8 and 10 for some reason. And those are like some of her favorites. So
you don't like it?
No,
You know what
I
I'm saying?
no, I remember that was the first Final Fantasy game I tried to play, and I'll be honest with you, back then this was like 2006 or something, and I that was before I really got into RPGs or anything turn-based strict combat. I couldn't get into the characters. I was like I just didn't like the game at all, right? But going
Yeah,
back into it later with new appreciation, I think 10's a pretty good game. I actually don't
yeah.
really get the hate. Like that scene where Titus laughs and the voice actor.
Ah ha ha ha
Okay.
ha.
Like, no, I will admit that's rough. But first of all, that was their first game. They had full voice acting for everybody. And
Mm.
in context, he's trying to make her laugh. It's not
Right.
supposed to be a real.
It's supposed
So
to be
it's like,
stupid. Yeah.
yeah, so like, it's an example of something being taken
It
out
was
of context.
cringy to be sure. It was cringy to be sure.
It was
But
cringy, but it wasn't as bad in context.
no, absolutely not. But so yeah, so Orion's my favorite. He's my favorite.
Orange
Probably my favorite.
badass.
My favorite Final Fantasy characters in general.
Mm-hmm.
So when he showed up in Hades level, I was just losing it as a child.
Oh
Um,
yeah.
yeah. So that was amazing. And yeah, just losing that element just completely took a lot of the wind out of the sails of the game. You can make it really nice and pretty and have the combat be fluid and really dynamic. But
Mm-hmm.
if you don't, or if you're not invested in some of the characters, right, and you just phone in the worlds, you don't have good world building, and the story isn't quite the same, and it's all over the place. Then what are you really there to care about? So 3 for me is a major disappointment.
All right, Zoro. Well, then I'll ask you, just in general, I guess, relation to Kingdom Hearts 3 or just anything, are you more of do you believe that substance is more important than style overall?
I mean, I'm a sucker for style.
Me
You know,
too.
so style can work quite a bit. It depends on the situation. It depends if you have enough substance to carry the style.
Mm-hmm.
Because you can have a game that's mostly style and very little substance, but it could work in context
Mm-hmm.
of the game itself. Like, I don't know what a great example of that would be. Like DMC5, right? Like DMC in general, Devil May Cry
Okay.
in general, those games are a lot about flash and fun and great combat and craziness all over the place. They don't have the best stories or characters, but
Yeah.
they're really fun. Or God of War, well, with the exception of the latest one, which had incredible substance.
Yeah. I've heard of that. I didn't play the new one yet.
Oh, it's incredible, incredible. Like really incredible. So yeah, so you can have flashiness and lack substance, but substance is what generally carries things in general. You gotta have a balance though. You gotta have a balance because the reason why I never played Final Fantasy VII is because I couldn't play with characters that look like blocks. I just couldn't do it.
Zoro, you gotta appreciate the charm. You gotta appreciate the history, man. There's so much, such a good. Honestly, okay, this is a great discussion because Ded and I talked about this a little last time. And like I said, I have the benefit of I think not being a hardcore gamer. So
Right.
when it comes to a lot of things, I mean, I like the story. Like for instance, I, I don't know. I when it comes to older stuff, I kind of appreciate what they were doing at the time, like with the technology they had. And you say, okay, when this came out, it was probably blowing people's minds,
Mhm.
whatnot, because it was such a transition. And I don't know. I didn't grow up with it. I played it as an adult, actually, just out of curiosity, and I was able to kind of get my mindset into it and say I appreciate it. Like for instance, one of my favorite things about Seven, honestly,
What's that?
is yeah, the characters are kind of blocky and chibi, but I'm like, if you look at it, a lot of the old Final Fantasy games were kind of like that anyway. Just they
Mhm.
look better because it was 2D. But the backgrounds, they were all like these like pre-drawn paintings and stuff, and there was so much
Mhm.
detail. They look like it's a very unique style that yeah, it's clearly a product of its time. But
Right.
I honestly think I could see the actual art for what it was. So I guess I appreciate that, and I also was interested in the story, but I don't know.
You're probably right. Honestly, you're probably right. I'm just a bit ignorant when it comes to, I guess, or you know, trying things that are, I guess, outside my comfort level sometimes.
Well, I mean, I'm that way
Gaming
too.
at least, but gaming at least. With anime, I mess with older stuff.
Well, and that's more the example I'd be comfortable with because all right, here's a better example. All right,
Okay.
and maybe it is just something about platforms, person to person, but when it comes to, I mean, this could be movies, anything like when it comes to a visual medium, I agree that obviously it has to be kind of appealing to look at, I guess, but if there's a good enough story that I'm somehow invested in what's going on and it's produced that way, I don't care as much if it's the flashiest thing. Like I don't know, like I don't know what's a good example, like Fist of North Star or something, or Lupin Third. Like they're older, the animation's choppier, but
I
it's
love Lupin.
it's still fun. Like it's still pretty good for the time. I don't know, like but some
absolutely.
you know some viewers
can
watch it. You know.
I completely agree. Completely agree with like Lupin. Even something as really dated as Ashita no Joe. I love the Ashita no Joe. It's great. It's a great series. North Star, very dated.
Very
dated. The audio you can hear background noise and something. It's a little rough. It's a little rough. But in general, yeah, with stories like that, when you can just sit back and kind of relax and kind of just appreciate it, I think I can kind of consume it easier. But when you're actually playing it and you have to kind of, I don't know, interact with the world. I don't know. I just feel like games, because of the interactiveness of it, because you're actually controlling the characters, I like to have a little bit more, I guess, visual
immersion.
Immersion is probably not the best word. Visual candy, eye candy. But yeah, I'm sure Final Fantasy VII, the original, is incredible. But I'm glad I waited because this remake is very good too. So
yeah, I mean, we've been going through it and we haven't beaten it yet, actually. Okay, that's fine. Well, I mean, I know generally what happens, so but I know that some things are a bit different. But
what chapter are you on in the game?
Where are we?
What's the last thing you remember? I don't care if you tell me. Are you all right? You okay there? Are you gonna do the Titus laugh?
No. You asked me the last thing I remember from the remake. Okay. Well, this is an example of something that is recreated that I appreciate. Well, okay. Tifa's been kidnapped by the mob boss, so we're about to go in and it's gonna soon be the infamous thing, I'm sure, where he has to cross dress to get in. But you're going and have to impress the people to see if Aerith can get.
God.
And my girlfriend was like, "Well, I don't want to get." You go into Madame M's massage parlor, which is
the hand massage.
It's a hand massage, and of course, it's funny.
The hand massage.
It's funny because in the original game, it's a lot of implied, like he's a little thing. There's some dialogue, walks in, whatever. Okay, sure, but this one, it's a hand massage, and of course, they do a lot.
Cloud is groaning and moaning.
It's a lot of implied stuff, and it was just like. We got the best hand massage we get, and basically it ends with Cloud Strife coming, and and that's the last thing we played. And I looked over to her because we decided we had to turn it off at that point because, and I said, I feel like that summarizes this game perfectly.
Cloud Strife.
It does, because it's like, okay, like they didn't have to do this. They didn't really do it, but they kind of did it in a different way, and it was amazing and ridiculous and disturbing and cool all at once. And that's final because we could. And
you are. I will say this: you are in the best, up to where I am right now. You are in the best portion of the game. Wall Market is the best portion of the game. I love Wall Market to death.
Okay, well, I'll tell you what. I want to get your opinion. Like, so far, our biggest issue with it is the fact that there is clearly some padding. Like, not all the side missions are like that interesting.
The thing is, I don't have the crutch of having played the original, so I don't know what's being added that wasn't originally part of the main canon.
A lot of the sides, a lot like the chasing cats wasn't there.
Yeah, people have told me. Now I know. But when I originally played it, like, I didn't know that the original side quests, and the Moogle kid and all that was just random added and stuff and all that stuff. And I enjoy some grinding here and there, so I didn't have a problem doing side missions because you can actually see your side missions having an effect on the area you're in, and that people actually start to recognize you because you're helping out the area. I actually kind of like that because it feels like you're actually doing something and it's causing an effect.
No, you're right. I mean, from an RPG standpoint, they're expanding and there's more side missions. It's not bad. I just think that some of it is very clearly padding to stretch it out further to make more games. Like, I think, like, I mean, like the whole, okay, to give you an example, to get to the playground, you have to go through the tunnels and it's like hours of fighting.
Yeah, the hand thing.
That oh yeah, that all right. I don't like that. The crane game. She was
range. Yeah,
she was getting
that was
so
bad.
angry. That was horrible.
That was
But
the only time playing that game, the game where I was like, okay, just move on. Let's get out of here. I'm done with this.
to give you an example, in the original game, you walked to another map and you were there in the playground scene. So it was a little tedious at points, but and also to let you know the ghost visions he's having, that they weren't really in the original.
Yeah, no, I was told about that as well. So
Yeah.
I do know about that ghost stuff. Also, that Sephiroth doesn't show up as early as he does in this game. I was
Yeah.
told that's also a thing. So yeah, I am aware of all that. But yeah, for me, I didn't have too many issues. The padding is a problem, and there's no reason this game needs to be cut up into possibly 3 parts
Or more.
or more. That's just ridiculous.
That's the part that gets me, the most.
Yeah, I get that, but like just judging it on its own merits and not trying to, I guess, take from the original. I had fun playing it throughout. I really have. It's the combat's really fun. It's challenging, but not overly so. I really like the characters. I didn't think I would like the characters as much as I did because sometimes JRPGs can be really cringy.
7 has some of the best characters from what I played in these games. Actually,
I love everyone, man. I love Jesse. I love Aerith. I love Tifa. Tifa number 1, by the way. Number 1.
Oh, she's best girl.
Best girl.
Okay.
By far. Barrett's great. Barrett's a little extra, but that's Barrett.
Well, Barrett, I'll let you know. I'll let you know. We always communicate about this. Barrett is exactly the same. pretty much. A little more fleshed out, but he's still Mr. T. He's still basically Mr. T.
He's basically. I didn't think about that.
He's Mr. T. He's Mr. T, man.
Oh my God! I didn't even think about that.
You never got that? He's Mr. T.
Now I'm not going to be able to unsee that, Merlin. Bro.
Well, but think about it. Wouldn't you want Mr. T in your party? Of course you would.
Absolutely. You kidding me? Oh my God! What was his name in the A team? A Bacchus or something?
I never saw it. I've never watched the A team.
Yeah, I never really watched it, but I just know being in the world. Either way, man, he's Mr. T. You're right.
Yeah, man, Mr. T.
Oh my God! It just blew my mind. But Mr. T's great. Yeah, all the characters are great. Even the characters that they introduced apparently that weren't canon, like the 2 guys, the 2 Shinra guys that they introduced.
Oh no, they're canon. The Turks.
Those 2 guys were canon?
Yeah, man, they were the original.
They're not.
Yeah, no, the Turks.
Those
the 2.
Rude, whatever.
Yeah, man, they're the original.
Oh, they're canon?
Yeah,
I didn't know that.
They work for Shinra. They're like the guys that aren't sold. Yeah. They're from the original game.
Oh, okay, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Okay. They're awesome too. They're awesome too.
Good.
So yeah, the game's great. I'm really enjoying it. But
good.
I can see why someone who played the original would be like, "This is just ridiculous."
I think the main thing is because we want to see like the beautiful scenes of the main story, right. And it's like that's mostly what we're here for. So, but you're right. Taking on its own merits, it's not too bad actually.
Right. The only time where I was playing the game like, "What the hell are you doing?" is wait, I can't say that. That didn't happen yet.
Okay.
Say that.
Okay.
Ignore that. Forget that happened.
Okay, so there's a thing we won't like. Okay, looking out for it. Great. Okay. Okay. All right. All right. So we talked about that. We talked about Kingdom Hearts. We had a couple of things going on. YouTube, copyright. I was afraid of that for a while. And what man, I completely lost it. Did you lose it? Do you remember? I have no idea.
The internet cutting out kind of killed the momentum there a little bit. But yeah, I mean, we were talking about a number of different things. Off stream, we were talking about this. Why not? Yeah, about a little bit of D&D there.
Yeah, I thought that was cool, man. You've been keeping up with playing. That's really cool.
Yeah. So for the chat, this man right here introduced me to the D&D world. I don't know if anyone out there plays. I know it's kind of a different fandom, right? The anime, movies, TV, and D&D can sometimes be separate. Sometimes
it all crosses over at some point.
There's a lot of crossover for sure. But sometimes when I talk about it on my channel, people are like, "What are you talking about, man? This is D&D stuff." But yeah, Merlin, you got me into it, and I've been playing it. Campaign for a couple of years now with some friends, DMing, and it's so much fun, man. It really is. And that's the one of the many things about the stupid virus situation, which sucks, is you can't meet up with your friends in person and play. Yeah, man, absolutely. I gotta say though, one of these days I'm gonna get you to get a 5e book and we're gonna play a game. I'm gonna run a game for you, man. It's gonna be fun.
All
The
right.
system is so simple.
I
It's so
know. All right. Well, it's funny you bring that up because, all right. Well, I agree. I've been wanting to game for a while too, and I've had a hard time getting people together, especially since this happened. It just can't happen. But yeah, with some of my friends who played 5e, I'm like, hey, would you guys want to try and run a game? And it's really weird. I get these really divisive things between my group of friends. Some people are like, yeah, it's cool, but like, Pathfinder's a lot more, customizable. It's very simplistic. You think it's too simplistic. And I'm like, well, I don't know.
Pathfinder is convoluted and overly
Hey,
complex.
hey, Pathfinder is great though.
It
Pathfinder.
is, but when you had me making a character, I like had a list like from top to down of like million different feats and stuff. And my brain
Uh,
almost exploded
all
from
right, all right,
all
all right. I will admit
the.
something. Based upon what I've heard, and this is why I think. All right, a little
Okay,
bit of history. Okay, here I'll give you my history of it so you can understand.
all right.
All right, because I don't think I ever told you. All right. My first experience playing Dungeons and Dragons was playing Fourth Edition,
Okay.
which is kind of
Worst
universally
edition.
hated.
Yeah.
Yeah, people hate it. So uh, you thought Pathfinder, like I didn't understand anything. To be fair, anybody watching that wants to get into D&D or any kind of tabletop gaming and wants to introduce someone else into it, you do want to probably try to find a system that's easier to grasp and focuses more on the
Yeah.
role playing aspect because I think a lot of people get turned off by the map, by the details.
I would say a good one, if I could recommend one, that I actually love playing. I've only played it twice.
Mhm.
Once was to get a little off topic. Once was for Halloween, where we actually came in person, a bunch of my friends, and we dressed up as our characters. And this is Call of Cthulhu. Call of Cthulhu is so much fun. If you like a little bit of a darker story, a little creepy, if you have someone who knows the system, it's such an easy system. You just need one dice, deal 100, and you're good. And you're good to go. It's so much fun
All right.
and very easy to get into. But go ahead. I'm sorry.
All right. No, no, that's a great point. All right. You see where I'm going. You really have delved into this more. I'm
I
happy to
really
hear that. I'm so happy to hear this. You really said you were. I'm like, he knows about other things now. Okay. Awesome. All right. Well, all right. My history was that I hated fourth edition.
Mm,
So my buddy Troll was like, okay. And I was kind of turned off to tabletop RPGs and D&D. I was like, I don't know if it's for me. So he got me, I forget what system he used. He got me into a superhero campaign because, I'm like really into comic books,
right.
something that was like a little simpler, had a couple powers, more role play. And
Right.
that got me more into it. And
Mm,
then he tried Pathfinder. And I remember it took like a lot of begging. It's like, trust me, it'll work. And then it did. Pathfinder, and I'll be honest with you, I still play Pathfinder to this day, and sometimes I have a hard time remembering some rules or double checking themes. Believe me, I will admit that. And here's the beautiful thing about it: with any system, you can house rule things if you want to,
oh yeah, of course. Yeah.
and if you're DMing, you could ignore certain things and change
There's always
certain things.
gray areas for
Yeah.
any.
So some people like to stick more to the rules. It depends on the system. Whatever you guys decide is fine. But anyway, Pathfinder just was something that once I got into it and I had some help making characters, I just really liked some of those games. I really do like the detailed customization with all the different feats, the skills, the spells, and the lore. Like, seriously, I do think Pathfinder is really good, but it probably is better for more seasoned players.
Oh, absolutely. That's probably why 5e is so popular, is because anyone can just kind of jump into it, pick up a player's handbook, a little bit of light reading, and you're good to go.
And that's
Or
the
if
thing
so, yeah,
too. Actually, and also you're right. And I think, and you might not know this, obviously Dungeons and Dragons, they had 4 editions. They were the main like fantasy tabletop. They were Dungeons and Dragons, right?
right,
But 3.5 was popular. Fourth edition came out, and a lot of people didn't like it.
right.
Pathfinder was like a separate group that modeled after that and
Hmm.
based on 3.5. And for a while, Pathfinder was outselling D&D. So when I
Yeah,
came into it, it was the main thing, right? So that's kind of my first exposure.
I see.
Now I think with D&D, they released fifth edition a lot simpler. Now they're boosting sales and it's bringing more people in. And now everybody's playing 5e because you could bring anyone into it and it's a lot
Right.
less intimidating.
It's not the perfect system. I'm not gonna just like be a 5e defender to the death, right? Some things are kind of like oversimplified to a certain extent, but when you have rules of like, oh, what's your armor when you're flat-footed versus not flat-footed,
Oh,
and
that's
all
annoying.
these,
CMB, CMD, it's
it's
confusing.
just too much stuff to keep track of. And even fifth edition with a lot of players, there are a lot of things on your sheet that you forget about, and there's still a lot of customization, like a lot of customization that you can get into. Even like how many years into it now, they're still releasing new books. They're still bringing out new classes and races and feats and all these things. So
Okay.
it's not like you have a limit of the things that you can come up with. Creativity is going to be there no matter what D&D version you play. I, I just like it because I feel like, you know, you can create a character, have it pretty simple, start a session right away. I felt like with Pathfinder, you kind of have to have a session 0 in order to get everyone's characters in order first.
Yes, Pathfinder. I don't let you know this. Every time we start a Pathfinder game, there is always a time where we get together and spend 2 or 3 hours making our characters, because you have to. Making a character in Pathfinder is a lengthy process.
Even at level 1, I'm assuming.
Yeah, no, even at level 1, you got all this stuff to write. You're right. It can be fun, but it is a little bit of a chore. And some people right off the bat are going to be so intimidated, or just, I was like in the beginning, I didn't have the best focus or attention. Trust me, I had a hard time. I had people help me make my characters for years. I'll be honest, I did. So it's I've had to play it for like 10 years to like get as comfortable as I am with it. I'll admit that.
Don't get me wrong. I still love when we played it. When you ran the game for us, I loved the Pathfinder system.
I'll tell you what. You can run a 5e game if you come into a Pathfinder game with me sometime. All right.
Absolutely, any day.
All right. Because the truth is, we'll make it happen. But I'll be honest, Pathfinder. All right. It's like what you said with comfort. I am used to Pathfinder. I know how it works pretty for the most part. I like it. Yeah. I can help people with it, and so that's the thing. But yeah, no, I've said to people like, hey, I'll tell you another thing too. A couple of my buddies, we used to mostly game at their house. There's 3 brothers actually. A couple of them been on the channel before, and like I asked the one brother, he was like, I was like, well, you know, if we want to, we could try to get into 5e. He's like, yeah, we could, but like, man, we spent so much time and money with all the Pathfinder books, because we have like, he mostly has them. We have all the books, all the bestiaries and the advanced players guides, and it's just like, that's part of it too. We'd have to.
That is, you know, the books are To be fair, there are free versions of the books online, like that are not illegal, that are like the basic versions that they give for free online,
like on Roll20 and stuff. I think I saw.
Right, yeah, now on Roll20 and even use Google search. You can find the basic edition where you don't have all the subclasses or all this stuff.
Okay.
But yeah. Also, in addition, like D&D Beyond is a thing now, and D&D Beyond, you can literally just buy the books digitally and have them all so neatly categorized.
Really?
And you can have the character sheets made with the easy, simple click and done. 5 minutes. You can make a character level 1, 5 minutes, not even.
This guy here, he's just trying to promote it. He's trying to get me to leave Pathfinder.
I'm just saying.
I can't.
Right, D&D Beyond code Zoro. No, I don't know.
I knew it.
They don't sponsor me.
Be cool if they did though.
I mean, I'm not, maybe on my old channel, not on the new one yet. But yeah, man, D&D Beyond, to make it so easy and just very, very accessible to go ahead and jump into a character.
Oh, all right.
You can buy all the books there.
All right. I'm going to get into it. Like I said, if you want me to pop in a game or something, you run a new one, I will do it. I will do it.
I have my sessions on Saturday. Every once in a while, we'll take a week off to like run a one-shot or just cancel. If I run a one-shot on a Saturday and you're interested, just let me know.
Okay. Yeah.
Or I'll let you know.
Yeah, definitely. It's one of those things, man. That's also been the thing for me too, because like the last year or two, just trying to get people together. You know, everybody has different things come up over time. You know, so it's like my work schedules. I work every other weekend, so and so I could probably do every other Saturday. I was trying to get people together to do like movie nights, and then trying to game on Sunday nights. It's like right now everything's up in the air. So you know, who knows?
No, we usually play at night on Saturday, so we play like 10:40, something like that. So at PM, pretty late. So I don't know. Well, you know, we'll work it out. We'll work it out.
But briefly getting off it, man. Actually, my favorite games to run are ones that are simpler, that are like D6 or D10 systems, that are like that don't take as much time. Like those are my favorite games to run. Not always necessarily playing, but
Which systems?
Like Call of Cthulhu is one, but my 2 favorite systems that I love to run, and my friends have told me that their favorite was one of these, but All Flesh Must Be Eaten.
Okay, never heard of that one.
Okay, try it sometime. Very simple. It's based around zombies. It's just you go around. You know, it's you have guns, basic system. You get one of those things where kind of like Call of Cthulhu, where you get strengths and defects to your personality, whatnot.
Gotcha.
But All Flesh May Be Eaten is really easy, fun, a lot more emphasis on role play, and also very similar to that. Probably my favorite system to run because I'm a Lovecraftian guy. So you'd think I'd like Call of Cthulhu more,
Right.
but I love World of Darkness.
To my vampire.
World of Darkness. It is connected to the White Wolf and the vampire one, but I've never run the vampire one.
I know a decent bit about Vampire the Masquerade. That very interested me.
Vampire the Masquerade is one, Werewolf Apocalypse the other, but I've just general World of Darkness.
Okay. Well, what's the difference?
Well, you're just not a vampire or a werewolf.
Okay.
You're just like an investigative person. It's very similar to Call of Cthulhu, but there is a lot more emphasis on investigation, role plays, will stuff with like the fear and whatnot. It's just, man, I had some good times running that. In fact, I think I have I have a Werewolf Apocalypse one right here. I've got two of these actually. Only didn't run a very long game of this, but this is fun.
Nerd bread.
Werewolf
the Apocalypse. That's cool.
Got a comic there. So yeah. I'd say if you're interested, anything in World of Darkness like that, Werewolf the Apocalypse, or Vampire Masquerade. Let me see. Yep, Call of Cthulhu is good, and also All Flesh Must Be Eaten. Man, it's just really fun. If you want to do a zombie campaign, so fun.
I do. I've been trying to find new tabletops to get into. I've been told about like Star Wars ones. I've been told about different kinds of like all over the place.
The new Star Wars one, I was in a couple games. That one, I don't fully understand the system, but it's pretty fun to play in. The one that they came out with recently, or there might have been the one from there is a new one. Let me see. I think that's actually kind of the limit of the ones I played a couple superhero systems. But I found it's kind of hard to make any of those ones work that I've seen so far.
Yeah, the only one I know about is Mutants and something. I forgot the name of it. I forget. I've heard about it. It sounds pretty interesting.
There's a couple superhero ones. I ran a superhero game that was fine. I played an X-Men one that went terrible because we split the party, and
You never split the party. Yeah.
No, we never split the party, and I remember I got completely destroyed by like my nemesis. It was horrible. that game crashed and burned. Play Star Trek games are hard to run. I never ran one. I played in one.
I'll say this. I recently have been getting into Star Trek.
I heard.
The Next Generation. Not recently. I told you about this a little while back.
Yeah.
I'm not quite finished with it, but I love it. I really do. I'm curious about you. Let me ask you a question. How do you feel? Have you seen Picard? Is it good?
I.
Oh no.
I watched like the first episode that was free or something. First couple, I don't know. It was all right. I watched it with my one buddy, and we thought it was okay. I don't know. I don't know, man. Like modern Star Trek is hard for me because it caters a lot more to being much more action heavy to get in a wider audience. So what you I don't know what to say to you.
Doesn't that go against the purpose of Star Trek? Like in the beginning when watching Star Trek, I'm like, why aren't there battles? And then as I started to watch it more, I'm like, oh, the whole point is to not
have a battle,
be in conflict. It's to talk. It's taught to talk and be like diplomats. That's the whole point of the Enterprise.
Which is why Gene Roddenberry was like, we want to create like the epitome of like what we can be and try to avoid violence. Yeah, Star Trek is not Star Wars. Right. It's different.
It's not at all. Yeah, completely.
But yeah, man, I heard you were getting into that. That's really awesome. The thing is, I mean, I try to be open-minded and I I try so. But honestly, based upon what I've seen and what I've heard about Picard, everything you liked about Next Gen would probably be invalid. It would go against it because they do things that are kind of out of character. See, all right. Here's the funny thing. Mm-hmm. All right, I'm in a weird place when it comes to Star Trek, especially Next Gen, because I've got one friend who is like very, very open-minded, and he's like, oh, all Star Trek is great. Star Trek. You have some good, some bad, but like Star Trek, I'm just glad to have it. And we're watching it. And I didn't want to watch Star Trek Discovery. Okay. because I'm like, oh man, they didn't have this the original series, blah blah blah. Watch it with them and like, okay, I don't like the first season, but second season's getting better. Okay, but I got this other friend who's like, man, fuck this. This is all terrible. I hate this new start. It's all shit. And I'm like, I feel like I'm just like in
In the
between.
middle?
I'm trying to be in the middle.
But you're more on the side of it's shit. That's by what I'm seeing.
All right. Here's my honest answer for you.
Yeah, please.
My favorite Star Trek show on right now. Can you guess what it is?
I don't know. What could it be?
It's the Orville.
Really? The Seth MacFarlane show? Is it really that good? I've not heard anything about that show.
All right. Here's the thing. I'll admit it's kind of like literally. I think.
Huh.
No, I'm dead serious. Like I think if you watch a little more Trek, you'll get you've seen enough to probably get a sense of it. But it's kind of got the sensibilities of the original series fused with next gen a little bit. But
okay.
But Seth MacFarlane's a big Star Trek fan, so basically that show was essentially Seth MacFarlane wanting to do his own Star Trek show. That's literally what it is. Now, I'll let you know.
It seemed like a parody at first.
Okay, that's what I thought too, and that's why I'm like, okay, this is just gonna be a lot of dumb Family Guy stuff. It's gonna be terrible.
Right.
But the first season has I'll let you know. The first season, I'm like, wow, this actually feels like Star Trek. It's a little more. It's like instead of the Pinnacle, the Enterprise, we have some more like kind of blue collar people on this ship, but it clearly could be like a very similar universe, right?
Gotcha.
So they're not exactly like the epitome of what we see, but it does feel very much like Star Trek. And every once in a while, they'd have it interjected, like, okay, here's a really dirty joke, or here's a pop culture thing that kind of like stops the show dead for 2 seconds, and you're like, okay, clearly they said, well, since it's Seth MacFarlane writing this, you got to have this so people watch it. But once you get to season 2, that is so greatly diminished. Like, and this is what he said. He's like, they wanted to push for season 3. But he said he wanted to wait till it was as good as it possibly could be. So that's why there hasn't been a season 3 released yet. So in all honesty, if you like Star Trek from what you've seen thus far, Orville feels much more like classic Trek than either of these other two shows, because they're trying to be much more action heavy, darker, grimmer. Like they're doing like, I've seen more Discovery than Picard, to be honest, but it's made by the same people. So, it's just like, yeah. I mean, I'll tell you when you get done. Okay. When you get done with Next Gen, have you seen the movie? You haven't seen the movies yet, right?
No, not seen the movies. Where I am in Next Gen, I think I just got finished with the Borg situation. The first
have
time.
You? Have you finished with?
Well, I mean, Picard was freed from the Borg.
Oh wait, so you're like in season 3 or 4 or something?
It's something I remember.
5.
Let me think. Maybe I'm forgetting. It's been a couple weeks here. Hold on.
I am Locutus.
That's the last thing I remember. Is Borg. No. The Q. Okay. No. So there was a child that was a Q. That was born a Q, and they were kind of debating. That's where I was the last at.
Okay, so you're pretty late. I think you're in one of the last seasons.
I hope not. That's really good.
No. Well, 7 seasons, man. I mean,
the Q. I love the Q. I love Q and the Q. They're interesting character. Yeah.
Q is my John Delancey's great. I think he's probably he's easily one of my favorite Star Trek characters. I love all the Q episodes.
Every episode he's in.
Oh, the Q episodes are my favorite. If I ever want to put on Next Gen, those are the episodes I always go back to first, because I love he's so smart alecky,
Yes.
He's so great.
And he never does anything wrong in his opinion. He's like, yeah.
I was like, what are you talking about?
Yeah. Exactly.
All right, well, now I'm going to quiz you.
Oh God, no.
Because I'm a nerd.
Okay.
No, I'm just kidding. I'm not good.
No, do it. No.
Oh, okay. All right. I'll give you. No.
I'll fail, but I'm ready for the challenge.
I'm not. No, it's fine. I don't know all the little details. I don't know what's on deck 7 and whatever. I don't know. But what are your favorite episodes of Next Gen thus far?
Okay, so I'm gonna talk about a couple of them. Yeah. One of my favorites is actually when they go to the holodeck and have like those noir episodes.
Oh, you like the detective ones?
I do.
A lot of people hate those ones.
Really? Really, I actually really enjoy that with Data and everything in the what Dick Tracy, whatever they call him. You know,
Cool.
I actually really those are kind of weird and they're different. And you can see how clearly that they really do care about Gene Roddenberry clearly cared about those old you know, Sherlock Holmes type stories. Yeah, it was good. Those are really interesting.
Did you like the one where Moriarty gets free?
More. Oh yes, yes. When he starts questioning his existence, that was actually really good. That was really good. Yeah, I had to think about that for a second. That was one of the better ones for sure. Oh man, some of my favorite episodes. Oh Jesus. In general, I just love Data episodes.
Okay, Data's
So
always
him meeting his father was really good too.
Dr. Soong. Yeah.
That was a great episode. Uh,
How do you feel about lore?
about what?
How do you feel about lore?
Lore?
Yeah, lore.
Am I forgetting lore?
I thought I wasn't going to quiz you. I thought you were going to know this one.
Lore?
You like a lot of the Data episodes, so
Lore?
yeah.
Am I losing my mind? It's been look, chat, don't roast me, okay? Don't roast me.
No, no, Laura, Data's evil brother.
Oh yeah, that was his name.
I was like, he knows who Laura is.
Now I know why I didn't care for it. It was just
I never really liked Laura that much, to be honest. I
try to make you care about him. Like I have struggles too, but you're a complete asshole. No one cares. No one likes you, man. Yeah, no wonder why I didn't remember. I try to forget about him. If I'm being honest, yeah, the lore episodes weren't that great. No, my favorite. I did enjoy the episodes with oh my god, I'm forgetting names now. Now you got me off my game here.
Okay. With the Enterprise crew, you mean? Like the main cast, or
yes, the freaking the forehead guy. I can't forget
Worf?
his name. Worf, thank you. Lieutenant Worf. Wow. I'm just embarrassing myself at this point.
No, that was awesome. No,
wow. So the Worf episodes with him going back to his home planet, right? With him having to give up his family name, and that kind of drama in general, and seeing Picard go and kind of speak on behalf of him, that was really good too. Because it kind of got into the politics a little bit. It got to a little bit more of a, because it also played into their rivalry with the fucking, oh my god, I can't even, you know. It's 2 a.m, guys. That's my excuse. I'm sticking to it.
Yeah, that is true. It is late, honestly. Where everyone's tired.
No, I'm kidding. But yes, those are probably one of my favorite episodes. And the Q episodes are just so amazing. I did like the whole like Borg situation, but I already kind of knew about it through like just pop culture knowledge. You know, I knew that he turned into a Borg at some point, so that twist didn't really get to me as much. But I like the fact that it raised the stakes at the very least. You know what I'm saying? It was a legitimate threat where they actually had to use some combat capabilities. So
I'll tell you something pretty cool. That 2-part special I actually saw in theaters once.
Really? That's awesome. That's really cool. That must have been a crazy experience.
And that was awesome. It was really cool to see. I like it when they do that and they put little things up on the big screen again. Let me see. Okay, so
what about you?
Me? Well, let's see. I'll give you a couple.
Okay.
I like the. I think my favorite. I know you might not have gotten all of these, but I think my favorite. I know my favorite Date episode is probably Measure of a Man, where they put him on trial to see if he's property or not.
That was good. That was really good.
It's a good one.
That was very good. Yes, it is.
I think my favorite episode of Next Gen of all time, and probably one of my favorite Star Trek episodes, is actually Darmok. Do you remember Darmok?
The name sounds familiar.
It's really good. I think it's just because I'm an English nerd and I really love. I think communication is just a powerful, important thing.
Oh,
so
I see what you're talking about. The one where they didn't have a language and
they speak in metaphor, and they have to go TOS style onto the planet and fight a monster.
That was good. That was good.
That's probably one of my favorites. I like a lot of the Worf ones with his storyline. Actually, I think one of the things I went through and kind of watched some of just his storyline stuff throughout Next Gen. Let me see. I think it's called The Defector. Did you get to that one with the Romulan that tries to betray his? I love that one.
Yes,
that one was really good. Yeah, that was an
I love
awesome.
the Romulans in general. There's such a creative and interesting like antagonist group,
You
because they're
think
not necessarily evil. They're kind of assholes. They're
I don't know, man. If you watch enough Star Trek, you realize the one constant is that Romulans are always evil.
evil. I mean, I guess. I don't know. Like, it depends on. I mean, not all Romulans are built the same. Obviously,
No.
there are some good ones, but evil. I wouldn't go as far as to say evil.
Okay, you
I mean,
think they're just
they're constantly in a because given their species and the way that they operate, it's just that they always kind of like test themselves against other groups, right?
mhm.
It's not inherently bad or inherently good. Eh,
They're just defending their territory and making
No, I
their
mean they're
place,
doing more than defending. Honestly,
infiltrating.
they're trying to expand and try to subterfuge and stuff. That's what countries do all the time. You know what I'm
Well,
saying? It's not any
all right,
different.
all right. Here you go. I'm just saying there might be a slight difference in perspective between the Federation of Planets and the Romulan Star Empire.
Yeah, they're an empire.
Yeah,
They're an
they're
empire.
trying to conquer and subjugate other people. I mean, to their way of thinking what's best, is questionable.
It is questionable,
Um,
especially with those haircuts. But
well, hey, they were
I'm
offshoot
saying,
Vulcans, man. they're just
yeah,
taken from there.
it's true.
Okay, so your favorite characters probably that might be tough.
Early on, it was actually number 2.
Riker.
Yeah, but as the show went on, I kind of grew out of love with Riker. If I'm being honest,
That's fine.
he just kind of played the suave, cool guy, which
He's
was fine
Kirk.
for a while. Um, it's probably Data. I gotta be honest. I really like Data because the actor is so good,
Brent Spiner.
so good. Like you believe he's a robot. You really, really do.
Oh.
Worf was great for the comic relief and the silliness. I just wish that he's supposed to be the badass of the crew, and he always gets his ass kicked. That's the
It's
only thing I
true.
regret.
Well, but think about this though. My friends and I often joke about this. Like, yes, Worf always gets his ass kicked, but that's how you know it's a threat. If it can kick
I
Worf's
know
ass.
they use him as like they use Piccolo. That's not wrong. You don't do that. Or they use Vegeta.
But Piccolo's always cool, even though he gets his ass kicked.
I love Worf. All right, although I forgot his name 2 minutes ago.
But you knew he was a Klingon, so that's the most important.
I knew he was a Klingon. I enjoy the Klingons. Like his whole story with his wife and his kid and everything was really good. Really good stuff. I really cared about that.
Do you
I got invested.
do you like Gowron? Remember Gowron?
Gowron?
He was have you got him yet?
Is Gowron the one that betrayed Worf?
No, he didn't betray him. He didn't betray him. The House of Duras. I remember you went through this stuff.
Right.
Yes, there was one guy.
Was Gowron the one that was appointed as the next
Yes.
king?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes,
Okay.
yes,
Yeah. He's okay. He's all right.
He gets interesting. If you like the Worf stuff, you'll like to see where it goes as it continues to build. The Klingon stuff gets really interesting. Continues.
Right.
You have a lot of stuff to see with
Yeah.
Worf yet.
Yeah, I do like the Klingon politics and stuff. It's pretty interesting.
So you said Data and Worf, but Picard though.
Picard's probably number 1. I just wanted to give those honorable mentions.
Okay.
Picard is number 1.
Okay.
I didn't know how I was gonna feel about Picard because there's always that debate that Star Trek fans have about who's the better MC.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
That's true. It is the big debate.
But man, I just really loved Picard because going into the show, I thought it was going to be like a Star Wars kind of thing where there was going to be like we fight against aliens and we defend the homeland, and it was going to be more like Mass Effect than it was, what it actually is. It's about, someone having to make tough decisions under stress, decisions that could affect the lives of millions or billions or even an entire planet, and doing it with a calm and collected and reasoned way that you can really respect. And it doesn't feel like it's just like he gets things done through plot devices or plot armor. Like, how did he figure this out? He's pulled that out of his ass. No, it seems like he came to decisions. Sometimes you don't even know if he's right when he makes decisions.
He doesn't even always know. He just tries to do his best.
And there's even his crew sometimes question some of the things that he does. But you know that he's doing it based on a reasoned and calm and thoughtful, at least pre-thought before he actually goes ahead and makes those decisions. So I have the utmost respect for Picard. He's a beast.
Totally. Oh, well, yeah, you don't fuck with Picard. Picard's great. No. Nah, man, Picard is awesome. So let's see. Okay, so you got pretty classic choices. You got Picard, you got Worf, you got Data. So let's get into some of the other characters. So you said Riker you're okay with. Then he's okay. That's fine. I'm kind of with you there. So how do you feel about I don't know, some Geordie LaForges, some Beverly
Jordy's
Crusher.
great. Jordy would probably be next on my favorites. Although I gotta say, I like all the crew. The only of the main characters I did not like, if I'm being honest, was the Doctor.
Beverly Crusher.
Yeah.
What about her son?
Some of the episodes that revolved around her, I just did not. I was not invested in. If I'm being honest, her son, I love it.
You like Wesley?
Yes, I love Wesley.
What?
I was sad. I was sad when he left the crew for a bit.
So you're a Wesley fan?
Yes.
Well, okay, now you got all right. Look, you're talking. Look, this guy is one of the most hated characters in Star Trek. You got. He has his fans, but you got to explain this. What do you like about Wesley?
Look, man, the kid's a prodigy.
Okay.
Right. I know some of the episodes around him were kind of like teenage angst and all this stuff.
Fair.
But he's a kid. He's a kid growing up in a really stressful situation. He's learning from Picard, and he's doing his best. And like he's doing good. He's doing good work. There were some episodes if Wesley wasn't there to save them, they would have been absolutely screwed. To be fair, though, he did cause a lot of problems too. But yeah, Wesley's clutch. I actually kind of like Wesley. I'm not gonna lie. He's not my favorite character by any means, but I was kind of sad when he left.
Do you like Will Wheaton? He's a pretty cool person.
Will Wheaton's cool.
Yeah,
he's a D&D nerd too.
Yeah, he's a big time nerd. He loves it. Yeah, man. Okay, so you like all right? Wesley's fine.
Wesley. What's the anti-Wesley argument? Let me just hear that.
Oh, just he's annoying. He was kind of shoved on the show. Forced kid character. Whatever. Yeah. But you're right. Caused a lot of issues. Kind of talked back to Picard. People didn't like that. He's one of those characters that's very easy to make fun of.
I will say I forget what episode it was, but with them on the ship when they were on the little I forgot the name, transport ship, right? When they were having them Picard and Wesley together.
The shuttle.
The shuttle, and they were basically having the heart-to-heart. I thought that was excellent dialogue, and I thought that was great because Wesley showed his appreciation for everything Picard did for him. He didn't seem ungrateful. He seemed like a kid. Kids make mistakes, kids say stupid things, they get uppity sometimes.
Yeah, it's realistic.
No, I thought he was a believable kid that was a prodigy that was well written.
Well,
I don't know. Am I wrong for this?
No, you're not. I don't think you're wrong. I think I definitely think he is not one of the pinnacles of Next Gen, but I think just writing him off the show was not the best move. But he comes back from time to time. You haven't seen all the Wesley stuff yet, I think.
Yeah, I saw him come back at one point. He came back. I don't know how many episodes he came back for, a couple episodes or whatever. Mm-hmm. After he's back from school, Wesley.
The academy, yeah.
But yeah, I mean it's fine. Wesley's
all right.
fine.
Okay, Wesley's fine. All right. Okay, that's pretty much the main deal there. Wow. All right.
We also have the psychiatrist too.
Troy. Yeah, I forgot about her. That kind of says what I think.
Wow. Yeah. Wow. You don't like Troy?
No. Okay. I like her. But she usually contributes nothing. She's a nice idea. I like the idea of the ship's counselor, the empath, but she's I don't know how many times I've done it. Could you sense what's happening? I think he's really angry. You think? Tell me something I don't know. It's a lot of those. It doesn't.
The best thing about her is her mother. I'm sorry. Her mother.
No, all right. Now you've gone too far. Lexwana Troy. No, you're fucking trolling me now. I hate her so much. Her episodes suck. What are you talking? Now you're lying. Now you're straight lying. She is so annoying.
Oh, yeah, she's awful. I know.
Thank you. All right. I was glad. I was like, all right, Wesley, I could kind of no. Everyone fucking hates Troy's mom. What the fuck? You got me cursed.
Yeah, constantly a sexually assaulting Picard.
Oh, and everyone. Oh, though I will admit where he has to do the sonnet is pretty great.
Yeah.
That was pretty great.
That is good. You got so offended. I love it.
Well, I can't even. I don't like those episodes. I really don't.
I feel
but yes.
What are your most hated episodes then, outside of Troy's mom, of
course? Okay. Probably. There's a lot of ones in season 1 I don't like very much. They're kind of rough, like Code of Honor, where they go to the planet that's pure Africa. Was kind of questionable.
Okay. Yeah.
That was it there. I think a lot of the.
Is that the one where I forgot the character that died off?
Tasha Yar.
Yar's character's got she got basically I am the king and I'm claiming you. That one.
Yeah, that one was a bit iffy.
That was a little, it's dated. It's definitely dated.
A little. I mean, the idea was all right, but a little dated. I'm trying to think because honestly, I don't tend to rewatch the episodes I hate that much. There, I think there was, I think there was one where they had to transport a group of people together, and they were all like Irish. I didn't really like that one very
Yeah,
much. That was an
yeah,
early one.
yeah.
I didn't know these ones by name. There's
I
there's
don't know either. So you're good.
there's one. I don't know if you've gotten. Actually, you haven't gotten to that one yet because it's a Wesley one. Um, there there's one of those classic ones where they have to move a certain group of people to a certain place, and
Mm.
it's. Have you been introduced to the Cardassians yet?
The Cardassians? I think say Kardashians at first. I'm like,
That
what?
that joke made its way into here. You, not you,
I'm sorry.
no, people make that joke all the time. Yes.
Well,
Have you been?
remind me.
Have you been?
Obviously, I'm terrible with names.
Have you been introduced to the gray snake people yet?
The gray snake people.
They look like cobras. They got those cobra things on their necks.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's an episode with them that I think is kind of dumb.
What happens during the episode? Maybe I've seen it.
It's Wesley came back during it. He's trying to defend these people on a Federation colony, but it's in Cardassian space. There was a treaty, and they said, "Oh, you got to move them off planet." But they're like, "No, this is our planet," even though it's actually not theirs. Have you seen that one?
Yeah, I think I did.
They're like Native Americans.
I remember that plot. I just it was probably a forgettable episode.
Yeah, that one I think is kind of forgettable. I didn't like the debate that much. There's also one that's kind of weird. The season 7 gets into a lot of experimental weird episodes that I think are good, but there's one. I don't know if it's season 7 or not. Did you see the one yet where Data kind of like context like an Aztec god? The whole shit becomes like Aztec, like Montezuma stuff. Yeah, that I liked what they're going for, but I don't remember liking that one very much. So there's a couple I don't like, but mostly just season 1 and some of season 2 I think is a lot of forgettable stuff. I think, yeah. Any ones that stuck out to you really hated, didn't like?
I gotta be honest, like the episode where Yasha or Tashi dies was just kind of like
Skin of Evil.
It was just it just seemed like she was getting written off the show rather than she died in a natural death.
She did. I think she wanted off the show actually.
Well, that didn't really work out, I guess, for her.
Yeah, well, now she's a big proponent. She loves Star Trek, and she's all like, yeah, and she came back. As an actress, she came back in like some of the time travel stuff, and
yeah, I don't know how I felt about that either. The time travel stuff was weird, because it was very confusing, because it's based off like the linear timeline, which I just think is stupid in general.
Well, sometimes they play off with the multiple timelines. They kind of do both.
Star Trek, I didn't. At least in that particular block of episodes.
Yeah, they play around with it. Time travel, it's usually linear.
Of which, when they brought Tasha Yar back to have her be a Romulan, that was just stupid. I'm sorry.
You didn't like that with her
that was
Romulan sister. Okay, so you don't like it when they shoehorn her in there as a Romulan.
No.
Yeah. That was just a way to get her. But I'll tell you what, in Star Trek and in a lot of shows, they have actors play different characters. Sometimes that's common.
Well, I don't have a problem with her coming back in another role. It's just the way that they handled it. It just felt super cheesy.
Kind of hacky.
It wasn't for me.
All right.
But in general, most of the episodes are incredible. There aren't really too many off the top of my head where I'm like, oh, I hated that one so much. There was the one where they were on that planet where this was a Wesley episode.
Okay.
Wesley in trouble for stepping.
Going on the lawn.
Yeah.
They got to kill him now. That was bad.
That was really dumb. And that's like the place like everyone's like really fit and jogging. Like yeah, woo. That was rough.
Yeah, that was really rough. See, Wesley hate, man. It's there.
It's not Wesley's fault. It's the writing. It's the writing. Like
some of the writing.
Getting a murder for stepping on the lawn after catching a frisbee or whatever. That's so stupid. I don't know.
Hey, well, it's obviously the extreme version of something, right?
No, of course.
It wasn't good. It wasn't good writing, though. You're right. It was cheesy.
But that's just one episode. Like the entire show is just. I would recommend it if anyone hasn't seen it in the chat. Absolutely, it's worth it.
No, Next Gen's really great. Not my favorite Star Trek series, though. See what I'm doing?
I think I do. Yeah, I think you told me about this. There was another one. Which one was the one that you liked?
Well, all right. Well, I'm sort of torn. Okay. I think Next Gen is like a very good show, but I think DS9 might be the best.
Okay. Now, in the timeline of when it was showcased, when was it after Next Gen or before?
Yes. So if you're watching, okay, here's what you got to do. you've got finish Next Gen,
Okay.
then watch the movies.
Mm-hmm.
You don't have to watch them all chronologically too much. It doesn't
The
matter.
movies take place after the show ends.
Yes. The movies are sequels to the show. So
Okay.
watch sequels. You can watch DS9 at the same time or after. Doesn't really matter. But after Next Gen ends, DS9 segues from Next Gen into that. Just watch all DS9.
Okay, are there any characters from Next Gen in DS9, or
Do you want me to spoil that for you, Zoro?
you don't have to tell me which characters? Just are
Okay.
there?
Okay. Well, there is one minor character from DS9. Wow, not DS9. Yes, actually from DS9. There is one minor character from Next Gen who we haven't actually talked about him because he's not a main cast member, but he goes into DS9 and is actually one of the cast members. So he's from Next Gen. And then around season like 3 or 4 or something like that, they bring in a major character from Next Gen who has a lot of storyline stuff that gets continued in DS9, and he becomes a main cast member in the second half.
Wow.
And you've also got another character who makes a couple cameos as well, I believe.
Interesting. So is this like how many years after?
Oh, it's like end of Next Gen. Literally, the first episode of DS9 is Picard introducing Cisco and them. Oh, you're beginning your station on DS. It's one of those.
Oh, I see. Right after. Okay.
So it's not like TOS where it's like 100 years in the future. It's right.
Gotcha.
Like everything from Next Gen on is all like in the same couple years, really, 5 years or whatever. So you got to watch the Next Gen movies, and you can watch them at the same time as DS9 or whatever. Though, yeah, you could. I mean, there'll be a couple minor references you might hear, but they don't matter. Like there'll be throwaway lines, like, "Oh yeah,
Gotcha.
like there's this war. Oh, you're having a hard time."
Easter eggs.
Exactly. So it doesn't really matter.
Okay.
But yeah, I'd say just watch the Next Gen movies afterwards.
Okay.
Whenever you're feeling like it.
My thing is like, what makes DS9 that much better over Next Gen, in your opinion? What's it about it that puts it over the top?
Okay. Well, that's a good point. Well, all right, I'll tell you a little history. DS9, when it came out, was a very controversial show because up until this point, Star Trek had always been about exploration, going from planets to planet, meeting new people, and finding new treaties and stuff like that. Right. DS9 they're on a space station. They're there all the time, intermingling with different cultures on the station and dealing with the surrounding planets and politics of this one area.
Oh.
And it was also one of the first long form storylines really to be not very episodic. It was a continuous seasonal storyline thing throughout the whole series. So back in the day, before streaming and whatnot, you miss an episode, you're screwed,
Right.
So nowadays, like in recent years with Netflix and everything, DS9 is it's up there. Some people say it's the best written, but that's one thing. Now, obviously, there's personal preferences, Picard and all that, whatever. And if you like exploration, that's fine too. DS9 does some of that, but DS9 also, how Star Trek is supposed to be the ideal, we're peaceful, our best.
Right.
DS9 is more realistic and says we're trying to do that, but sometimes we have to do dark things. We got to make those tough decisions.
I appreciate that.
I know you would. I know you would. So there are some things you think Picard might not make the best decision. Cisco will do some things to resolve some things that whoa.
What's that called? What do they call it? The Prime Directive is.
Yes.
I hate the Prime Directive.
Prime Directive is BS, and they ignore it all the time because it's stupid. Oh yeah, we've got to let the asteroid hit them because whatever. No, we don't.
Interfere, saving millions of people. Sorry.
But but we're here already. Maybe we're supposed to interfere. What are we? So it's the Prime Directive is a cool concept, but it's holes, so many holes.
It's exactly like they even talk about in the show, the Prime Directive's flawed. It's what bureaucracy makes you have just to play it safe, but in practice, it's not the most ideal.
No, but yeah, I think you'd really like DS9 because if you I think Next Gen's good. It is really good. Don't get me wrong. I mean, Next Gen's classic. It's up there as one of the best for a lot of people for obvious reasons. Mm-hmm. But I think in terms, because me, I like my long form stories.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
I like my if you like Sopranos, you like Breaking Bad, you like Game of Thrones. DS9 was before all that. I mean, obviously it's not HBO, but it's Star Trek. But you've got intricate the Next Gen. You kind of build up the characters over time, but it's still episodic for the most part.
Yeah. Oh, for sure.
You've got your interweaving storylines, but for the most part,
a couple episodes mini arcs, but that's about it.
That's it. But you get some of that early on DS9, but it's mostly we're talking seasonal or series arcs like with characters fleshed out. We get like like you want to talk about complexity and nuance and like like it's, and also spoilers. I mean, not really, but like DS9 is about a freaking war halfway through. It's Star Trek. It's with the freaking war.
Star Trek Wars.
It's Star Trek. I'm serious. There is a war, and if you like, I mean, like it's not quite as flashy and fantastical stuff, but there is a freaking war,
right?
With my favorite villains in the whole freaking franchise. You know, not the Borg or the Klingons, like
Romulans.
Not Romulans are there, and they're always a problem, but the Dominion. Just listen to that name, the Dominion. Oh man. The Dominion are so. I love the Dominion. I don't want to spoil anything for you, but
sounds like a badass wrestler group.
Yeah, like or like it just sounds like you're picturing like the Dark Lord, like with the freaking like all the armor. Yes. We have the Dominion over. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. It's just an evil. They're like, what's an evil sounding name for this empire? The Dominion. Oh, you don't even know what that is, and you don't even find out anything about them for like seasons, but they're the Dominion.
That's cool. That's cool.
Yeah, so but they're also really interesting and complex too, and
like are the characters as well?
I mean, yeah, I mean, I guess that maybe they're not as iconic, but like I don't know, man. The characters, like Cisco is great captain, and I mean, some of my favorite characters are on DS9. There's a lot of great comedy. I don't know. It's at least okay. It's at the same level of next gen, but maybe more because they could just flesh more things out. Because they just do that, they do that.
They're not restricted to the very condensed episodic nature.
Yeah, so I think DS9 is probably the best written. It's probably my favorite, but I don't know if it really is my favorite.
Okay.
Because this is where it might get a little interesting. Because you told me you had a hard time getting into TOS, but like I kind of grew up watching with my dad, and so that's what got me into Trek, and I have such a soft spot. And we got to get into this because you cannot complete your journey without giving it a second chance. Because here we go.
This goes back to what we were talking about earlier with Final Fantasy VII.
Yeah,
and there are some things that, technologically speaking or technically speaking, are just kind of too dated, just too much,
just a little too dated for you.
Like, I understand now that Star Trek isn't about the battles and the conflict. Even like the combat in Next Generation is very bad with the lasers.
I mean, there's some cheesy sets in Next Gen for sure.
Not great. I mean, but then again, some of the sets are really beautiful in Next Generation too.
Yeah.
But like, I see some clips sometimes of the original series, and he's fighting this guy obviously in a suit, and it's
the Gorn?
So like
it's classic. That's classic.
It's too much.
Okay. Zoro, all right.
It breaks my immersion.
Zoro, okay, I get it breaks your immersion, but do you appreciate camp?
To a certain extent.
Okay. Well,
there's a threshold of camp that I can accept.
Okay. All right. Well, this is where it's going to get interesting for you, and I will stick. Okay. All right. First of all, I love another disclosure about me. And I don't even know this. I love film. I mean, you know that I love movies.
Of course.
But I also am fascinated by the concept of the so bad it's good thing. No, I am. Because I like to get entertainment out of something that it's bad or fail. But and it's unintentionally hilarious. I love that too. I think there's a weird appreciation for that, right?
I do too. I love The Room. I love Leprechaun in the Hood and all those weird movies.
Exactly. Now this is the thing. It's in the same camp as that, but original series still has some really great character and writing though.
Okay.
It really does. Like so what I would like you to do for me, if you wouldn't, I think you probably have time. Well, first of all, tell me how much did you watch? What episodes did you watch?
Maybe one.
Okay. Thank you for being honest. Did you watch the first episode or something, or what?
A while back.
Okay.
I don't remember what it was about.
Right. All right.
It was a long time ago. No.
Okay.
What was it? No. I'm trying to like separate Next Generation from the original because they're kind of blending in at the moment.
The first season or two of Next Gen is basically original series.
Right.
Very similar.
Right.
So I know you can do this.
But in the original series, I think that there was.
Tell me. I've seen
a different actor.
Okay.
Character.
Here we go. Okay.
And then I watched the actual first episode.
Okay. Yeah, thank you. Okay. This sounds like part of the problem. In the first couple episodes of TOS, they were still figuring out what the show was.
Right.
The pilot has Captain Christopher Pike in it.
Right.
Okay. And
I watched that.
Okay. So you didn't even watch the first. Okay.
No. I watched that in addition to the first episode.
I saw.
I saw the.
Okay. Here is, so you watch those first 2 episodes.
Yeah.
Okay, here's what I'm going to tell you, and I'm going to be honest with you about this.
Okay.
The Cage is a classic, and so is the second one. Okay, but caveat, I understand your struggle. If I was trying to tell people like the introduction to TOS, would I give them those first? No, I wouldn't. Because the first one isn't Star Trek the original series. There's no Kirk, there's no Dr. McCoy, nobody's there. Completely different feel, feels like a different show, right? Doesn't seem like the same thing. Second one, okay, you've got Kirk and Spock there, but they've got different uniforms. It's kind of a weird tone. So I agree. Once you get past those first 2 episodes, it becomes more what the show always is.
Okay.
More what it is. Okay. So that's first of it. I'll also let you in a little secret.
Okay.
Some episodes of the original series have really great writing and great character moments, and they're still kind of cheesy. And they can be cheesy and bad at the same time. Some of them are just bad. Like I'd say about half the episodes of the original series I don't care about. I'll be honest. But there are a bunch of classics that I come back to every time because they're some of my favorite episodes of Trek that you just have to see.
See, that's tough, saying half the episodes or you don't care about. And the thing about it is, like, the episodes that I'm sure people really care about, I've been spoiled about. I know about Khan. I know about, I remember seeing something about, spoiler, Spock dying at some point. I saw something about that. Although he comes back in Next Generation, which has me confused.
Okay, well, and this is the thing. Okay, all right, look. Okay, you're missing out a little bit. Trust me.
I just did spoil through the grapevine.
Well, you said that about the Borg, and you still like Next Gen, so I don't know if I care about that argument too much.
True,
okay.
True.
Now, it's possible you might just like Next Gen more, which I just fine. But I do think there are some really good episodes I wouldn't mind you giving a shot to again. What I'm thinking about doing is I will give you my personal favorites. And if you watch, seriously, I will. And if you can watch some of those and you're still not feeling it, that's fine. But I'm pretty sure you'll like some of them. Like I'll tell you, here's another thing too.
Okay.
For the writing of Next Gen and DS9 that is superior in a lot of ways. There is nothing better. There's really nothing that's been surpassed character-wise and acting-wise in the chemistry between Kirk, Spock, and McCoy. There is nothing like it on any. I'm serious. From an objective standpoint, I've never seen like that level of friendship explore. Like it's never been equal than any of the other shows, even in DS9, which is weird to say, but that is one thing that I think the original series has that no other Star Trek show has been able to mimic. And I think maybe it's the actors' chemistry, but like for that alone, like Spock and McCoy, like giving each other shit all the time. Like you're missing out on some great like quips. You damn Vulcan. Yeah, the banter. Like you're missing out on some great like good.
Yeah, stuff. I really like the Vulcan in general and their whole deal.
Like Spock, you love Spock, man. You're depriving yourself of Spock alone and Dr. McCoy, Scotty. Like you got to go into it with a little bit of a different mindset, but there is some legit great classic sci-fi stuff that is built upon. So that's okay. I'm not done yet.
If I had to choose, we can go back to that. But if I had to choose between starting after Next Generation, DS9 or the original, what would you say go to first?
Do DS9 first.
Okay.
Well, actually, this is what I had a second thing I wanted to tell you.
All right, go ahead.
DS9. Okay, here's the thing. You can do DS9. But I also encourage you to watch like some TOS, at least some of the episodes I recommend to get more of a feel and appreciation, because the first Next Gen movie is a crossover between TOS and Next Gen.
Wait.
Yeah.
Movie between the original and what?
Exactly. So I'm not going to spoil that for you, and you're not going. I mean, I'm not saying. Okay. So you'd have. I think you've got to get a better sense of Kirk before you can appreciate some of the few good things about that movie, which leads me into another thing, sir, which is my legitimate, and you'll see this. I mean, maybe you'll like this, but okay. Sometimes I'm able to say, okay, Next Gen overall is a better show than the original series. Okay, I can agree with that. Do you know what everybody else agrees on though?
What's that?
Which series has the better movies?
The original, I'm assuming?
Oh, the original movies, with the exception of 1 or 2, are fantastic. The original Star Trek movies are some of my favorite movies of all time. There are 4 Next Gen movies.
Is that the one where Spock dies?
One of the ones is where Spock dies, which you'd have to see the TOS episode. But that is one of the ones that's good. It's classic. It's a great film. There are 4 Next Gen ones. Like one of them is pretty good. One of them's okay, kind of stupid. The other two are people kind of hate. I mean, like you could probably have your own opinions, of course, but like I
I like
honestly,
Wesley, so who knows what my opinions are at this point?
what'd you like?
I like Wesley, so I don't know. Maybe my opinions
Well,
won't.
who knows? Maybe you'll disagree, but I honestly do think that most people would think. I guess generally the original series has better movies, and you can't really appreciate that until you appreciate the characters. It means I think you should watch. Like I was gonna say, to you, Zora, at least watch the original series movies, but you're not gonna appreciate it as much until you watch the
The
show. See what I'm
characters,
getting
yeah.
at? See, so it's like, but like the thing is, the to give you an idea, if you're worried about visual eye candy, like the fucking Star Trek movies, the original ones, were worked on by Lucasfilm. They worked on by Skywalker. So like, they got the same. So like, if it's special effects you're worried about, Wrath of Khan's a beautiful movie. Like, first movie.
I don't need like this. But this goes back to before when we're talking about flash versus substance. Like, as long as I got a little bit of flash,
okay,
I don't mind as long as the substance is good.
Okay,
right?
Okay, I agree. Now,
You know what I'm saying?
I got you.
I don't need like all the bells and whistles, just
Okay.
a little bit of bells and whistles.
Well,
so
then,
I'm not like, ooh, I'm taking out of it.
All right. Well, I'm really excited to see you do. Please, I want you to get into this because I just want to hear your opinions. Because here, I'll give you a little spoiler. I'm sorry.
Okay.
Am I going off? I feel like
go ahead. You're good.
Okay.
Go,
Yeah, my passion for Trek. I don't get to talk about this too much. Really, I don't. But like, okay, here's a weird conundrum for you then.
Okay.
Okay. Star Trek: The Motion Picture, based on the original series, is a very slow moving, like 2001 Space Odyssey, kind of old school sci-fi, which I think is a very cerebral, interesting story. I've heard some people love it, some people hate it, some people think it's boring. But I will say to you, it's probably the most beautiful Star Trek movie because they said, "Oh, Star Wars came out, we have to compete." Enterprise original looks so. Oh, they spend like so many long shots just showing off that model, and it looks beautiful, but it might be boring. So I don't know. How would you feel about something like that?
I don't mind it. If it has a like I said, I like having like my bells and whistles, but there has to be a story there. And if it's like Final Fantasy VII remake level of like going over the top just to show the flavor, then it's a little too much. But I don't know without the context.
All right. Well, I mean, you don't know clearly, but I'll tell you what. Some of the Star Trek movies, they're not all good. Some of them vary, but the ones that start off from when, the one where Spock dies, and then everything continued to that whole storyline throughout the movies is fantastic.
Is that the Wrath of Khan? Is that the one that was?
Okay. Which is a fantastic film. I think, most people, like even non-Trek people, would say that.
Is he a Klingon? Khan?
I don't want to spoil. Like, okay, there's an episode of the original series that is a sequel to this, and that's the thing. It's not. He says Khan. Like, Khan is a villain. He's not a Klingon. He's actually a super soldier from World War III that they found in like a spaceship back from another time from the past, and he comes back and wants revenge on Kirk. It's classic stuff.
He wants a revenge on Kirk when he was how?
No, not okay. I can't. All right. Basically, they find this guy from the past who was like an evil like super soldier, tried to conquer the world, and then they have a counter, in an altercation. And the one guy that was going over and said, okay, how can we make Star Trek 2? Because people didn't like the first one that much. Okay, I think this guy would be an interesting villain to follow on. Let's see. Okay, he wants revenge for what happened to the old school. And it's just the actor, Ricardo Montalban, he's one of the best. He's the best Trek villain. I mean, and, and it's one of those things, man. My buddy Troll, he likes Next Gen more, but he'll tell you Khan is the best. Like, okay. Just saying that despite your initial couple episodes, there are gems in TOS.
I don't doubt that he's the best villain. Like, and even in Next Generation, I haven't come across a villain that I'm really like the hive mind concept is a great concept, but it lacks having a singular enemy, right? Like at this point, don't spoil. Is that laugh mean something else? Is there a leader of the Borg? Is there a leader now? I'm more interested.
No. Wait. Well, anyway. Yes, the hive mind concept of the Borg, it makes them a really awesome villain, but as like an individual villain,
right?
I think Khan's up there, though. I will say some of my favorites are actually in DS9. One of them might be one of the snake people I mentioned.
Yeah. you not
Yeah.
like the snake people? Do you like the snake
Oh,
people?
I love the snake people. They're a fantastic militaristic society. They're great. You'll see some of the whole, oh, we were just trying to subjugate these people by, uplifting them and integrating their society. They don't think they're bad, even though they murder a bunch of people. Oh, they're complex. Also, they're actually, all right, my personal favorite Star Trek villain might be the guy that Jeffrey Combs plays. Basically, remember the Dominion I told you about?
Yeah.
The Dominion basically have this one group. They're kind of like, in fantasy terms, they're like the upper echelon. You ever play Halo?
Yeah, of course.
The Dominion are basically a lot like the Covenant. Okay, the founders are up here, and they've got the soldiers that are the Jem'Hadar, who are really interesting. And then that they just sound like cool fantasy names.
That does sound
and the Vorta are like the elves, the diplomats, and the guy Wei-Un, the guy that's like the diplomat that is always trying to negotiate. He's a slimy. I love that guy. I don't know if he's as good as Khan, but you see more of him. So he's a fun bad guy. So I don't think Next Gen has very good individual villains, except for like I guess Q. Q's kind of an antagonist.
What are those races? Are those?
Oh, Ferengi.
The Ferengi, bro.
Oh, hey, the buttheads in space. All right.
You immediately knew what I was talking about.
Well, I know you say I don't care about those guys, those villains. Yeah, they suck. Those space Ferengi. Cool. No, but here goes. But I'll tell you this though. Here's another great thing about DS9. The Ferengi suck.
Mm-hmm. Okay,
but do you know what DS9 does?
What?
Fleshes them out and makes them better, makes them awesome, and you'll love Ferengi by the end of DS9.
That's a tall order.
Well, all right. Maybe you won't love all Ferengi, but there is one character. There is one character who is a Ferengi, who is one of my favorite Trek characters, who is you will love because he is fantastic. I'm like, Zoro's gonna like this guy. He's Quark. Right. If you like a guy who's kind of sarcastic, he's not a member of the Federation.
I see. Okay.
So, but he is great. He is one of the best story arcs. His relationship, because he's kind of like a crook, sort of on the station, and he has a lot of altercations with the sheriff, the constable that runs it, who's a shape-shifting guy, also Odo, who the actor passed away recently, so that guy. But yeah, dude. Anyway, where was I? Okay,
we're everywhere.
Okay, but basically, here's what I recommend.
Okay,
and I'm gonna send you like some stuff here so I remember. But here's what you can do. When you're done with Next Gen, you can watch DS9 right away. You could watch the movies whenever. It's not really going to interfere in anything, though I feel like you're probably going to want to watch the movies and find out what happened to the Next Gen crew.
Probably.
But before you do that, because the first one is a TOS crossover, you probably should watch some TOS episodes and then probably the TOS movies first, because there's certain things that happen to certain characters in that movie that a lot of people don't think were handled very well, including myself. But you're not going to really care about anyway. Like I didn't care about TOS, so I don't know. So I think you'll appreciate the best things in the movie more if you appreciate TOS more.
Yeah, of course. If you know the characters more, that makes sense.
Yeah, so that's why I'm like,
possible. I know this. I'm not going to probably do this, but is it possible, if I don't want to be spoiled about TOS, to skip episode 1 of the the crossover episode and just get into episode 2? Is that possible?
Yes. Because First Contact has nothing. The movies are a lot like the show, very episodic, whereas the TOS movies are a lot more like DS9, where it's kind of more of a flowing storyline throughout. Well, all of them except the first one, they just kind of ignore. They're like, we'll pretend that didn't happen because people didn't like it.
It was good. Okay.
I mean, I don't know. It's a thinker, but it's not really action adventure. You know what I mean? It's whatever.
Gotcha.
The movies feel more like the show, kind of.
Gotcha.
With better effects. But it's true.
Yeah,
but,
I appreciate the recommendations. I'm definitely going to give it a chance, especially now because I was kind of skeptical about Deep Space Nine. Is that the name of it? But now on my problems that I've had in my mind that
dude, I'm like no.
Now I'm definitely very interested in
what did you hear about it that was bad?
Well, I heard that the main cast wasn't as engaging.
It's debatable.
But I didn't really hear too much else besides that. I'll be honest.
Well, this is the thing. I will be honest. I feel like Next Gen got more exposure, so I feel like Picard. Everyone knows who Picard is, like they know who Kirk is. The debate is always Kirk Picard. Cisco's never brought up, But it was also a show that people didn't watch because, like I said, you missed an episode. People couldn't follow back in the day, and people hated on it because it was different. And now it's appreciated. Trust me. I wouldn't. Let's put it this way: DS9 is not the most popular Trek show, but a lot of people that have watched it are like it's the best written. You know what I mean?
You got me on. I'm on board.
Okay. Well, yeah, but
Sign me up. I'm already there. You
okay,
got
but
me.
yeah, but I think I just knowing you, like knowing what you like and the type of writing you like, I'm like, if he likes next gen, I think he's gonna think DS9 kicks ass. Like, I mean, I'd be very. I'll admit to you, kind of like with next gen, first season or two is kind of but like once you get into the Cardassians, and
I
then
liked the first season though. Honestly, like I mean, it wasn't the greatest of all time, but it kept me hooked by leaps and bounds. I was never thinking, season 1 or season 2, oh, I'm getting off of this. It kept me wanting to watch more. But you're right. Like season 3 and a little bit more kind of punch to the story. So for sure.
All right.
But I guess since we're talking about Star Trek, I might as well ask you, who's your favorite captain? I mean,
well, Kirk's always been my favorite captain. Not because I think he's a better captain. Like if I was serving on a ship, I'd want to serve Picard because I'd be safer. But but Kirk, I really like Kirk's like kind of knight in shining armor, swashbuckling, roguish kind of attitude. Like he's kind of and there's a misconception.
Han Solo-ish?
That's a better. I guess he's more like Han Solo than Picard is. But it's kind of interesting. There's this misconception of Kirk that like he's just like. I mean, there's elements of it like, okay, yeah, he is a womanizer. He shoots first, asks questions later. But like, it's a bit of an exaggeration in pop culture. Like Kirk is also a diplomat, and Kirk is also like, he has some really good character moments, and he's a very passionate person. Picard tries to be detached, like, and I think that's one reason I was telling you, like, my favorite thing about TOS that I always loved watching when I was a kid, and even now, is just the dynamic where Kirk is a guy who is always struggling with these decisions, and he kind of stands by them firmly like Picard does, but he really weighs into like, okay, he's got Spock, is sort of logical. You can see his logical mind, and Dr. McCoy's always like, no, you can't do that. Like the straw, and you see him always taking in both sides. You get to see like his conscience. It's interesting, and I really like seeing those characters play off. So maybe it's like
the advice of his crew. Yeah, I see.
I will say though that the rest of the TOS crew isn't as good as Next Gens. They were much more one dimensional, but they get more to do. Like Scotty's fun, and Sulu gets some good moments too. But yeah, Kirk's always just my favorite because
is Kirk like Riker? Because I always got the impression like Kirk would be a lot like Riker.
Okay, Riker is basically Kirk. If Riker, but there is a difference between Kirk and Riker, which you will probably notice. A recurring thing about Riker is, even though he has his strong points, he never quite wants to take command and fully grow.
Right.
Kirk is that guy, but he did that.
I see.
You see, so Kirk is Riker pushed a little bit further to being the best he can be, which you see hints of in Next Gen. But yes, Riker is basically Kirk in Next Gen.
Okay.
Because the womanizer.
Like I told you before, Riker kind of outgrew his welcome, so to speak, after a couple seasons. I was like, okay, I get it.
Yeah, I mean, Riker, Riker's one of those guys, like, I feel like you can't have Next Gen without him. Number one, make it so.
No, absolutely. He's 100% necessary.
He's a good character, but yeah, I don't think you ever hear anybody say he's better than, like, Data or Worf or anything, You never hear that. But no.
To my knowledge, and I could be forgetting something, I don't know if we did get episodes of him specifically, right?
Yeah.
But none of them felt like it was as personal and as powerful as some of the other episodes for the other characters.
No, and I think that's because they originally wrote him because, like, we got to have a Kirk character. He'll be the go-in to do the action stuff where Picard's up here, and they kind of did away with that. So, I don't know. But yeah, that's a good example. I think Kirk is a better character than Riker because he's allowed to do more.
Gotcha.
But the thing about Kirk is a very human, flawed character. Like, he's much more believable in some ways. In the movies, okay, here's the thing. I think it's funny. Kirk has a lot of great moments in the old show, but the movies have this great arc about his growth that Picard never really gets, because which is weird because they're both.
Picard is pretty static as a character, I would say. I mean, he has his struggles, but he's still the same Picard throughout.
Exactly, and you'll see some growth at the end. There's a good moment at the end of the show, and they kind of explore certain things with him in the movies. But you're right; he never really gets a fleshed out arc like Kirk.
I do like that one episode, and this might sound weird, where he kind of had the vacation episode.
Where he goes to Oh man,
Like
just the
him
rise
having
up.
vacation is like the most weird thing.
Oh,
And he's like, hey,
Where Picard goes on vacation and with the girl with the
yeah,
archaeological dig and the Ferengi
yeah,
guys after him. Oh, that's a
yes,
classic. I
such
love
a
that
great
episode.
episode.
He
So
tries
good.
he tries to just read. He wants to be left alone. Doesn't want to have to be any of this. And he ends up but actually having
Yeah,
something to do is like a great vacation for him.
I know, right? Yeah,
Oh, I love that episode. She comes
right.
back, by the way.
I know. I did see that episode where she came back.
Comes
I
back
like their
in another show too.
Oh.
And also certain other characters you like named Q show up in other shows too.
Oh, you don't say.
Oh no, wait, what did I say?
You don't say, sir.
Oh,
You already had me on the hook, man. I'm already on shore
well,
at this
all right, but I'm not done though. I'm not done
wow.
talking about Star Trek. Are you tired of it yet?
No.
Okay, I got a
No,
little.
no, no. I thought you froze for a second. That's why I said on.
You froze for a second too, so it scared
Okay,
me.
okay.
Okay, but no, I'm good. All right, first of all, we haven't talked about Voyager yet or Enterprise.
Oh wow. Okay.
Well, it's okay because I don't really
those?
care about Voyager
Okay.
that much. Okay, here's the thing. All right, man. Voyager is there. It's basically next gen, except they're lost far away in space. They got to get home.
Oh, okay.
So you got to see some of the tension. I think some people don't like some of the characters as much, but there are some good episodes in Voyager.
How long is it? Like the entire show's about getting home?
Oh yeah, man. 7 seasons about getting home.
How?
Yeah.
Are they in uncharted space?
Yeah.
So how do they refuel and
they stop at other planets, and they have scientists to help them, with the warp engine and stuff.
Technology that just so happens to be warp technology? Okay.
Oh, Voyager has some good episodes, but it also has some of the dumbest episodes in all of Star Trek. Like there's one where they go so fast that they turn into newts. That's all I'm gonna say.
They what?
They turn into newts.
Newts.
Yes.
Like frog newts. Newts.
That's what happens when you hit ultimate speed, and when you hit warp 11, it's just ridiculous speed.
Then why didn't in the episode of Next Generation where they had that engineer guy that made them go like ridiculous speed?
Zoro, it's bad writing. That's why.
Which was another great episode, by the way.
Sure.
With that character that Wesley connected with. That's why I like Wesley.
The Traveler, I think it was. That guy?
The Traveler, where like the fake engineer that was all like hot air came on, but it was actually the Traveler that was giving them the technology to move at like incredible speeds. And then he came back later, and that was good. That was good stuff.
But yeah, Voyager, I'll admit, I saw a lot of that growing up, but I'm not. There are some good episodes, but I don't really care that much about it. You might like it, but I don't think it's essential. I'm certainly not over DS9. Though you could watch it anytime. Like you could watch them anytime. Enterprise is a prequel. Takes place before the original series.
Okay.
That has some good episodes and a lot of bad ones. But you're welcome to explore it at your own leisure.
Okay. Which is generally like considered outside of the main ones that we've talked about already, like even you can include those as well. Which ones are like, what's the ranking?
You mean like for people generally?
Generally speaking, I definitely know your opinion at this point.
my opinion, okay, like if you were to ask like the average Trek fan, and sometimes I go on polls, most people, it seems to be like Next Gen is number one.
Really?
Yeah, but most of the time, like in terms of like, I'm talking like the fandom in general.
Gotcha.
Most people like Next Gen, TOS, and then it gets iffy. DS9, Voyager, and Enterprise is always at the bottom.
Is it?
Enterprise is always at the bottom. Always.
Why don't people like Enterprise?
Because there's a lot of just dumb decisions, which, to be honest, I think it's excusable because it's early Federation. They're not really established yet, but
gotcha. Is it still Gene Roddenberry running these, or?
Gene Roddenberry died before DS9 was made. He died during Next Gen.
Really?
He only did the original series and the first couple seasons of Next Gen and the first movie, I believe.
Wow. Okay, I didn't know that. That's crazy.
Yep, he died right before Star Trek 6 was released. Yep. But Gene had a lot of involvement in early stuff, which a lot of people didn't like. Actually, some of the best Star Trek is when he's not involved. It's kind of like Lucas. But
is that right?
Yeah, it's true. It's actually very true. Nah, man. A lot of people hate it. But the thing is this. I will be honest with you. Generally speaking, I love all Star Trek. I mean, I will tell you every series has good and bad episodes.
Right.
I'll be honest. If you want my personal preference, I think my person, if I was going by personal favorites, I think it's probably like TOS, DS9, Next Gen, and then Enterprise, and then Voyager is probably at the bottom for me because I just don't know. I just never really cared about Voyager's character. I don't care. Like Neelix is a character, but it's very annoying. They got to cook, even though they got replicators. They got to cook in space. Like he's a cook. I'm serious. There's an episode where like there's cheese, fungus from a cheese that gets in the engines and starts growing everywhere, and it's just like it almost
Let's
destroys.
get
the
the
show.
cook to fix the problem.
Yes, seriously. Sometimes the cook has like space wisdom. It's
Oh my
just
god.
there's a character that's a Native American.
Speaking of space wisdom, how do you feel about Whoopi Goldberg's character?
Oh shit, Guinan. I love Guinan.
Yes.
I love
Yes.
Guinan. Oh yeah. How did we not talk about Guinan?
And I know. I can't
Oh man.
believe-
Oh well, man. Oh, that sucks. I'm sorry, Whoopi. I'm so sorry. No,
Oh,
Guinan's
man.
great. I love Guinan. I wish she was in more episodes. I love Guinan, the bartender.
Well, it's Whoopi. She was a pretty big deal back then.
I know, but do you know all right? Here you go. Do you know why Whoopi wanted to get on Next Gen?
Why she wanted to get Next Gen?
She wanted to be on Star Trek. You know why?
She did. Okay, I don't know why. No.
Because she was a huge Star Trek fan. She loved the original series.
Really?
Can you guess why?
No.
This is a well-known story, but I'll tell you because TOS is important, man. Because at the time, the '60s, we have a female black character on a prestigious position on the ship, Lieutenant Uhura, and Uhura and Nikhil Nichols wanted to leave the show because she was offered something else. And do you know who came up to her and said, "No, you have to keep watching the show"? No, because Whoopi was a kid. No, Martin Luther King. He came up to her and said, "There is one show that I allow my kids to stay up late to watch, and it's Star Trek. You got to stay on that show."
Wait, what was it? What year was the original series released as opposed to the Next Generation?
TOS was 66.
Okay, I didn't realize that was much of a gap.
Yeah, man. Yeah. Oh, yeah. It was a big gap. 66 to 68, and Next Gen was 87.
That's crazy story though. That's really cool.
It's cool. And Star Trek, man. You know, Star Trek is important because you might not know this. Star Trek was not popular when it came out in the 60s.
I can imagine. Like I got to say, like by our own standards, by today's, our culture, a lot of the things that they talk about is common sense. But I would imagine for the time that they were showcasing these things, a lot of the issues that they were covering were really controversial.
Oh yeah,
and they actually like covered them in a very tactful and tasteful manner, in a way that wasn't cheesy, it wasn't overdone, it wasn't just like in your face, like insulting. It was very beautifully handled in a very thoughtful and respectable way most of the time.
Well, I mean, don't get me wrong. I mean, TOS still was a product of its time, and
I'm talking about Next Generation.
Next Generation. Well, Next Generation still, but that's the thing. It was the foundation of TOS is there, and that's what Star Trek's always been about: is promoting these ideas.
Right.
But yeah, man, that's why Whoopi wanted to get on because she was inspired by those characters.
That's awesome. Yeah. Guinan's really cool.
Do you like her hats?
Her hats are good. I kind of wish she did more. Like, we're all about to die. Can you tell us what we need to do, Guinan, instead of just being mystical and weird?
Do you like that she's really powerful but never does anything? Like she's about to attack Q?
Yeah, she is. She's really the fact that the Q like it was so great. I really like Guinan.
Yeah, Guinan. I can't believe Guinan's. I guess is like a recurring character, but yeah, she's not really in. She has an important part in the first movie, actually.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Yeah. And once again, when it comes to the movies, man, I kind of like them all, even the bad ones, like the ones that are considered the worst. I still enjoy them all.
Yeah, they could be the worst and still be good.
Yeah, I enjoy them.
Like for example, like we were talking about this kind of before, like the Star Wars movies.
Oh, here we go. We're gonna shift gears.
Might as well. It's a good transition there.
Sure. Have you heard of Star Wars? What's that? Tell me about it.
Heard of the Star Wars movies? Very obscure, not really that popular. Like I was for a long time someone who was weird because I like the prequels, not every aspect of the prequels, but in general, as a totality of a trilogy, I think it told a coherent story. Although sometimes, over political and boring at times, or not the best written, but the dialogue's a little cringy at times for sure. Sometimes. We all know the sand lines.
Yeah, I hate sand, man. It's scrap sand, it sucks.
Of course it gets everywhere.
Of course it gets everywhere. Who wrote this? George Lucas.
You
Who
know,
directed this? George Lucas.
I feel bad for Hayden Christensen. I really do.
He's fine. He's fine.
I'm sure he is, but like the amount of like hate he probably got over the years.
Oh, people look. You know what, dude? This is the thing. I like the prequels too. I enjoy them. I think they have their problems, but like I agree with what you're saying. You see, the prequels have their issues, but you are right. They were made by this man named George Lucas who knew what he wanted to do. He had A, B, and C, and maybe the delivery wasn't
mind behind it.
You know, he there was a unified thing, and in certain other movies, there was like a board of directors that might have argued about something and just shifted gears instead of just committing to one thing.
Whatever movie do you speak of?
It's called like Wars Star. There's like a couple. There's like one where somebody wakes up. There's like this. There's a Jedi that does something, and there's like a Skywalker that also gets up. Like there's like a bunch of names, and there's like this one movie
that like Skywalker, or is there a Sidious?
There's this Palpatine guy. You see, her name is not actually Skywalker. She ends the movie saying, "My name is Palpatine," except she doesn't because that's not the theme of the movie.
She's not a Palpatine, though. I thought. But she.
No. You see, the thing is, her parents were like not important. Like they didn't matter to the saga.
Oh well, yeah, that's what they said in the second movie.
They did.
There were nobodies, right? Except
that's
they
right.
were.
Because thematically, it doesn't matter. You can make yourself great, but no, actually, you're somebody great. You're just a heart like.
Oh my goodness.
You know, I remember what's sad is the last time I had you on a podcast, which was about 2 years ago, by the way. We talked about how like many problems you have with The Last Jedi. You know what? Yep. All right. Look,
I'll tell you. Before Rise of Skywalker.
Yeah, this was well before Rise of Skywalker.
Yeah.
And dude, look, Rise of Skywalker. Look, I'll tell you this. This is how I felt. I want to hear all your thoughts about these Star Wars movies, everything. I want you to talk for a while, but I just want to say this thing.
Yeah.
Last Jedi, I admired some of the things it was trying to do, and I thought this is a bold, interesting direction. I personally didn't like it because of some things it did to people named Luke Skywalker, but you know, whatever. It was a bold choice that I got why a lot of people hated it, including myself. But at least I appreciated it. This other movie comes out, and I'm like, you know what? I don't care. This is just fan fiction. The movie, whatever. There's 5,000 Star Destroyers. I'm just gonna be like a little kid and say, "Oh, I'm 10. This is great. I had a great time." It was dumb, but you know what? Whatever. I had a fun time watching it. That's my brief review. You tell me everything about this new trilogy. What do you think?
Where do we start?
I don't know. Good luck.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to push that button there, but
it's sad, man. It's sad.
Like the trilogy started off with potential. All right, J.J. Abrams, you know, say what you will about J.J. Abrams, and I know he's made Star Trek movies that people have hated too.
No, actually, I don't hate them.
You don't? Okay, that's good. The issue that I think happened with the series as a whole, if we can just kind of look at it from a broad scope here,
like all Star Wars.
I mean, well, not all. The new trilogy specifically.
Okay.
We'll get to that too.
Sure.
Is that like we've hinted at? There was no unified focus. You have multiple directors, each with clearly a different vision of how they wanted the story to go. The first director starts things up. He sets the building blocks of how he wants things to go. The second director says, "Fuck you," throws everything out the window. And then for some godforsaken reason, the director is brought back for the third one, and then says, "No, let's just pick those back up and just throw them back in and hope."
Literally in the movie, literally throw them out.
Yes, kill them if you have to.
But not really. Don't kill the past. No, it's all about the past. Bring the past back. His name's Palpatine. How we bring him back? I don't know.
So everything is conflicting. The second movie, like the Jedi don't matter, lineage doesn't matter, none of this matters. They burn the ancient text.
Except they didn't. Except they didn't. That was in Last Jedi too. We burned the secret Jedi texts, and then they have the scene where they have the text. Like, what was Yoda? What does Yoda want? What was Yoda trying to say? I don't know. I don't know.
Yoda's old. He doesn't know what he's saying. He's an old ghost. What were the words he said? Like, page turner, they are not.
Okay, that was funny. That was a funny line, I guess.
That was funny.
It sounded like a Yoda thing.
Man. Like, you're basically giving a big middle finger to a lot of the fans that care about the lore and the world and the whole history of the Jedi.
Expanded stuff.
Expanded universe. Man, like, I personally would love, if they go to like If they go all the way back to like Bane,
Darth Bane and
yeah, absolutely, man. Revan.
Old Republic's where it's at. Like
Old
seriously,
Republic is amazing.
Just do Old
Amazing
Republic.
content. I love those games, by the way. But
me too.
Topic. So to like just say, oh, let's burn the text, ignore everything that the series has been up to this point, these movies, is a spit in the face of the fans that have been waiting for decades for these movies to come out. So that's my issue with The Last Jedi, is that it basically said, we're doing things our way, screw the old way, which I don't mind necessarily in practice, but when you're giving such a big middle finger to everything that's built up to this movie, it just kind of gives you a bad taste in your mouth, you know?
Yeah.
And then this final movie comes.
It's like, no, Disney's like, oh, no,
Nope, was a clone all along. Did you not know this?
No, but that last movie, dude.
But it was really me, but a clone.
Dude, like the thing about it is, though, the sad thing about it is, you could watch The Force Awakens, go to Rise of Skywalker, and you could skip Last Jedi. It doesn't fucking matter.
You could. You absolutely could. Oh my God.
Matter.
It's crazy, man. There are some good moments, like when Kylo sees
Han.
Han. It's late again, as I said. Sees Han on the ship. Has that heart-to-heart moment. It's great. I don't like the fact that they're putting Carrie Fisher in these movies, because it's obviously not Carrie Fisher. Like there's scenes pre-recorded and they don't fit into the movies. It just I'm fine for having her be there in spirit, but when it just feels like exploitative at this point.
I like the one scene where they did the flashback of the CGI young her, and it was just
that was good. That was good. Because not actually using her, it's using a CGI version of her, which is okay. That's fine.
But like a stunt double, I'm like, okay, that's kind of cool. For like that 1 second, that was cool.
Right, exactly. Having her like Superman through the skies, through space. That's a whole nother story.
Well, the sad thing about Leia is, like, I like the character of Leia, and she does so much more in the books. I would love to have actually gotten to see her do some more stuff. And it's not really obviously the character's fault. I mean, you can't help that. But yeah, like it's just they shoehorn her in there. It just seems like she could have done more. And then I think she could have died off screen anyway, and I don't think it would have hurt.
Yeah.
She was in coma, right?
Yeah, I feel like they should. Once the area exploded and she was out in space, you could have ended it there. It would have been fine.
Yeah,
it would have been. You didn't have to have her Superman through the sky and do all this crazy stuff. I will say this about The Last Jedi, and I'll give it credit where credit is due. I kind of like the fact that they kind of threw away the lineage aspect of Star Wars.
Mm-hmm.
Because it gives the idea that anyone could become a great Jedi. It doesn't matter who your parents are, your grandparents. I kind of always hate that kind of destiny predetermined nonsense in stories.
Yeah.
I really don't like child of destiny, predetermined great, child of great ancestors. I just don't like that at all.
Well,
and I know what Star Wars is about, and a lot of it is.
It's a trope. It's a classic trope.
That's what Star Wars is. I mean, even the original series and, of course, the prequels leading up to the original is all about family and all that stuff.
It's an integral theme, to be sure.
It is. But I like the concept of at least, saying that the Jedi, were numerous at one point. They weren't all part of the same family. You can become a great Jedi without being a Skywalker.
Well, it's interesting because, like, I kind of like the chosen one aspect of Star Wars original, because it's such an important element of the main story. But that's not really the problem. You see, we can have the chosen one predetermined thing here, but it's like in the films they can't get away from that. There's Star Wars outside of that,
Right. Exactly. So that's a really big shame of all of these movies, is that the universe is so interesting. If they had a chance to actually explore it, they limited themselves to a trilogy, which they can make it 5 or 6 movies. Do an MCU thing where you build up an entire universe, characters.
Yeah.
What they're doing with the Clone Wars and other shows like that are actually interesting, because you actually have characters that are important and interesting that are not the main characters necessarily, right?
No, actually, you know what? On that note, I actually watched Rebels not too long ago. I actually really liked it.
Yeah, I've seen a little bit of like Clone Wars and Rebels and stuff. I haven't really delved fully into it, but it's always been really good. I've heard good things, so they brought back my boy Darth Maul, so I'm happy, I guess.
He has a lot to do. His death in Rebels is fantastic.
Oh, you're talking about his actual death?
Yeah, his actual death in Rebels, yeah.
Obi-Wan?
Yeah, the face-off with Obi-Wan's great.
Oh, man, that was great. It was brilliant. They threw a little nod in there. I remember that scene. They threw a little nod in there to when he was fighting Qui-Gon. He used the same move on Obi-Wan that he was exactly tried to do the pummel to the face that he did to Qui-Gon, and Obi-Wan read that and he cut him down.
Yeah.
That was
And
so
also,
perfect.
and you see they had the stance, and in that moment, you can kind of see just with the stance that silent visual of when young Obi-Wan becomes old Obi-Wan.
Obi-Wan,
Different
exactly.
technique.
Change styles. The Jedi stances,
Yeah.
which is a concept you could have explored also in the new stuff. That's another thing about these new movies. I have so many things to complain about.
Oh, please.
The combat is atrocious. Atrocious.
Yeah.
That's what I love about the prequels. The lightsaber duels are incredible.
Zoro.
You can say it's over choreographed, it's this or that.
Zoro.
I love the old prequel fights.
The prequel fights have the best choreographed fights in all Star Wars. That Darth Maul fight, nothing tops it. Beautiful. Maybe some things about the spins are stupid. The Duel of the Fates by John Williams. There is, dude, just watch that to get yourself pumped up, man. It's good.
It's like nothing gave me the chills in Star Wars. Legitimately, nothing more than when Qui-Gon was behind the barrier with Darth Maul just kind of freaking pacing back and forth, and Qui-Gon just sits there patiently, and I'm like on the edge of my seat. When I first saw that as a youngling, oh my God, that was so hype. Dude, I love that.
I'll tell you something. Maybe this is controversial. I'm sure it's controversial, but look, one of my favorite. I loved Episode 1 as a kid. I did. All right, I did. I saw the originals first, of course, but I loved Episode 1. And I like Star Trek too, even as a kid. So the political stuff, I like learning about the Senate. I don't care. Like we learn about the world, whatever.
Right.
So I like that stuff. That wasn't a problem for me, even as a kid. And I'll tell you though, I love Qui-Gon Jinn. It's one of my favorite characters. And I read a book series growing up. Jedi Apprentice is about Qui-Gon training Obi-Wan. One of my favorite book series.
Really? I never read that.
Oh, they were great. I recommend. They're probably easy to read. There's just for their adventures. Just learn about what they did. You learned about what the Jedi did in the last days of the Republic. It was diplomatic stuff and rescuing people. It was really cool. But when he got killed, and Obi-Wan was like, "No!" I was like, "Oh man, that was just intense." I love Qui-Gon, man. It's great.
That scene is perfection. The only thing is the ending's a little like, come on, man. You let him flip over you and cut you in half.
Well, yeah. He's just like,
oh. He's like, oh.
You could say the same thing about Darth Maul, though. It was like,
yeah, Darth Maul doesn't let it happen. I was like, come on, man.
I think he was just so like impressed. Like, wow, this is pretty. It cut me in half.
He's like, I had the high ground. What happened? No.
You always have to have. Anyone who has the high ground, automatic victory, I guess. Which doesn't make any sense to me. Yeah, I guess I don't know. You don't understand. I have the high ground. Like, just an automatic. You know what? Never mind. Lifts the ground up like before. I don't know.
But the Anakin and Obi-Wan fight in the third movie is incredible. Like, just incredible.
That's a really good one too. You know the reason I don't like that one quite as much though?
Okay.
I always thought they were trying to do a little too much with the green screen, with the jumping on the lava. I always thought that was a little much.
It's aged, it's aged a bit.
Hey,
but dude, at the time,
I still think they're pretty. Though, you know, one thing I did, because I have some downtime at work sometimes, one of the things I've been doing is I've been going and looking at the making of movies. I watched like the making of for every single Star Wars movie that I guess is a featurette. Man, they put a lot of effort into those prequels too. And that scene, and I'll say one thing about Lucas, like when he wants something, he's like, no, what was the one thing? Oh man, it was somebody, there was like a movement of one character, and like this one guy was in charge of just like the movements, and it's like, no, I want to get it right. He said he kept coming back to do it over and over and over, and I felt bad for this one graphic designer guy. I'm like, okay, is this the final one? Like, okay, that's good. Like, talk about pressure. Like George Lucas will look over individual part,
every detail.
And
it shows when someone cares about the thing that they're trying to make, even if it's not the best.
Even if not everything about it was executed well, I think he should have had more input from other people about the writing and whatnot. Sure, but he had passion for it. That is evident.
Clearly. And if these new movies have done anything, it's given us an appreciation for how much those old movies gave to us.
People are reevaluating the prequels now. I'm like, they're not quite. They have their problems, but like at least they were coherent.
Because you have to understand the prequels were being compared to the original series, which is a tall order. Tall order to really match up to something as good as the original series, the trilogy rather. And now that they have this to compare it to, they're like, okay, well, I guess let's reevaluate. But yeah, so the combat I love the lightsaber duels. And then in the latest movies, it's just very lazy. Like, I know they have stunt people and people to help with the choreography, but it just feels like a lot of long, like lazy swings. Not a lot of like really like, I don't know, creative like combat. Where it's using the environment and doing a lot of fun things.
I've got a feeling. Well, I've got a feeling they were trying to emulate some of the older style to get away from the stuff in the prequels, because that's one thing they've tried to do with the new ones.
That was the good stuff in the prequels.
I know, I agree with you, but I think one thing I don't like about, I don't know if it's so much the choreography. I think it's about how they're shot, because, and this is an Abrams thing, is like a lot of these close-ups, like during the action, you can't see a lot of the actual motions a lot of the time.
Right.
A lot of quick cuts and close-ups. So that might be the cinematography is an issue, and the editing as well.
It's that too, but like the scene that everyone loves about Last Jedi is the scene in the throne room with all the red the what they call the royal guards. And if you actually go frame by frame on that and actually look at what the royal guards are doing, some of them get knocked over, like not getting touched. Some of them are just sitting back waiting, and that happens a lot in stunts in movies, in kung fu movies. But to this extent,
Star Wars.
to this extent, it shows that a lot of they didn't like recognize the problem and have them reshoot it, which they should have did, and a lot of them were off the page, weren't on the same page there. So
that's just movies are expensive. They got to keep rolling, and the guy's like, all right, I guess that's the best take.
That's the thing. If that was Lucas, I guarantee you he would have said, do another damn take.
I'm like, nah, you were standing there. You gotta like move in quicker, you know. We gotta. This is for the kids, okay? They'll appreciate it more.
Yeah, man.
We're trying to tell the story. You know, you tell the story. Here's your character. Do it. Go now.
Crazy. What do you feel about we got Taika Waititi directing a Star Wars film?
Oh, that's cool. I like Thor Ragnarok.
I know that.
Yeah, I know that. Yeah.
Okay, let's say.
yeah, I know. I heard about that. That's the Thor Ragnarok, right?
Yeah.
I mean, he did.
Movies,
yeah,
he did the Jojo Rabbit. You see Jojo Rabbit?
I didn't see. I saw Search for the Wilder People. I didn't see Jojo Rabbit yet, though.
Okay.
But yeah, I've been off and on with my movies this last year. But yeah, he's a really colorful, vibrant guy. He can do sci-fi. Like, I mean, I think it'd be fine.
He did a Mandalorian episode. He did direct a Mandalorian episode.
Which one did he direct?
The one where it was one of the later ones.
Then don't tell me.
The episode where the stormtroopers were talking and it was like the comedic.
Oh yeah.
That one.
Okay. Well, then maybe it would be more comedic. I wonder.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, all right. You know what? We'll shift gears a little.
Sure.
How do you feel about the spin-off movies?
For which one specifically are you talking about?
Well, there's two. There's Rogue One, and then there's Solo.
Because I didn't see Solo, so I can't comment on Solo.
You're one of those people who are like, nah, I'm not doing it.
I didn't see Solo. I just had no interest in Solo, if I'm being honest.
Okay.
Rogue One was actually, out of the new movies that came out, was probably my favorite.
Even though the characters were like not characters.
The movie was too short. You didn't get a chance to really know the characters or care about them.
That was but that's a huge problem, I think, for the movie.
It's true. I mean, I'm not saying it was a great movie. I'm saying it was the best and my favorite of the new ones. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So the thing, I had a reason to care because it was connected to the Vader, of course, and we got that great scene with Vader going crazy and killing all those people. That was a great scene, fantastically shot scene. Although it's basically just recreating that very iconic moment. But yeah, I mean, some of the characters I kind of cared about.
Like
Donnie Yen.
Yeah, Donnie Yen. Yeah, Donnie Yen. Yeah.
I love Ip Man, so
the droid was good too. Voiced by Alan Tudyk. He was great.
It was good. It was an amazing movie by any chance, but I was entertained throughout. And that's
I think it was probably the best looking of the Star Wars movies. It's very well designed.
Yeah. How do you feel about the spin-offs?
Oh, I mean, that's pretty much it. I think Rogue One was a beautiful movie. I liked a lot of the concepts. I liked some of the characters, but the main characters really weren't defined, so I didn't really feel invested. And also, there was the terrifying Leia CGI thing with her face at the end, which made me burst out laughing. Yeah, exactly. That's in that movie. But people ignore that because of the awesome Vader. That's horrible. That is nightmare fuel right there.
I forgot about that.
It's a new hope. Our new hope.
Oh my God.
They just held on it a little too long. That's the only problem. It's beautiful technology we just weren't quite ready for. But the Vader scene is kicks ass though. That was pretty awesome.
That's a great scene.
And he has some great lines too. Careful not to choke on your aspirations. Vader likes his puns. He's saucy, you know.
He really is. He really is. Vader's great. But
Oh,
then
yeah.
again, just like playing on my nostalgia. But it still gets points for doing it. Yeah, I don't care.
I'll tell you what, man. I do think you should check out Solo though. It's not bad.
It's not.
It's actually pretty fun. You know how you're talking about. I mean, granted, you could say maybe it's unnecessary, maybe you didn't want to see it, but you know how you're talking about getting beyond other aspects of the Star Wars universe.
Right.
You get to see more of that in Solo.
Okay.
You get to see more of the smuggler side, the organized crime. There's cool.
Is it a one-off though? Are they going to make Solo sequels?
Well, I don't know. It was the lowest performing Star Wars movie of all time, so I don't know about that. But because everyone was angry about The Last Jedi, but it was actually anyone that saw it is actually like it was pretty good. It was actually a pretty fun movie. I'll tell you what. All right, this is what I always say to people. It was a pretty good film. Honestly, it was a good film, and see it for Chewbacca, because seriously, Chewbacca gets a lot of great character moments. Chewbacca really is done excellently in the movie.
You get to see where like the life debt came into play. Okay, that's one thing I always wondered about is the life debt. And I love the Wookiee life debt. It's really interesting in all kinds of medium, not just obviously the original trilogy. So yeah, for sure, I'll be sure to check that out.
Oh yeah, man, definitely.
Are you being called off right now?
I don't. Well, I'm being looked at a couple times, so I don't know. I'm honestly not sure. I mean, I could keep going, but will you do me a favor? Because I had to walk away last time. Will you speak into the camera so we don't have dead air?
Oh, absolutely. I'll just
talk about whatever you want, and I'll jump back in. Thank you.
No problem. Hold it down. All right, I'll hold it down for the moment. So going back and talking about the new Star Wars movies, the problem I have with the latest one, there's numerous problems like we've already talked about. And I don't want to come across as a hater because all this video I've been talking about things I don't like, which I like a lot of things, guys. Believe me, I'm not just some sort of hater, right? And I just love the aspects of Star Wars that have been forgotten in the latest iterations of these movies. I'm all for trying to make a new kind of spirited choice of going in a new direction, right? Trying to breathe a new life into an old franchise. But you can't ignore what made something great in the first place and act like it doesn't exist. You got to have characters that we care about. You got to have struggle. You have to have a coherent storyline. You have to have a world that I care about. You can't throw in a number of ridiculous plot lines that don't make sense and expect us to just accept it because it's Star Wars and we're going to turn our brains off and just be like, that's the way it goes. Like, for example, when Rey ends up dying and then we see Kylo somehow bring her back to life, which, I mean, he's been using the dark side of the Force for who knows how long right now. When he learned to bring someone back to the light to life and learn healing Force powers when he's been on the dark side of things makes very little sense. But we'll say it's fine for now, right? Brings her back to life, and then he starts to die, and she's like, I could heal you. I could use my powers that I've always had. I used Force Heal earlier on in the movie. I could heal you, but I don't think I will. Let me just kiss you and let you die. Rey is just such a weird character, man. I don't know how to feel about Rey. I really just don't care for her personally. And it's a shame because I was all for like bringing in, the female. Let's make it happen. Let's do the first female protagonist, or at least one of the main ones in the films anyways. And have her be an essential, an important character. But they made her just such an unlikable character in so many ways. It's not really anything to do with the actress. Daisy Ridley's amazing. It was more of the way that they wrote her. The fact that she got ridiculous powers for no reason with no training at all. Like, how does she have like force lightning and is able to like basically become the Avatar with like floating rocks and wind around you, but you're not able to like do simple, like, with no skill with the lightsaber at all. No skill whatsoever. I just feel like they really dropped the ball with her. They really did. And when you don't care about a main character in a story, then the story kind of falls apart. Kylo Ren saves that franchise. He's the reason to watch those movies. Um,
All right.
Not to
Well,
mention Finn. I was just ranting about Star Wars.
okay. What were you continuing on about?
I was saying that Rey is just unlikable.
Oh,
I don't like the fact that
mm,
we just give her powers. She doesn't have to work for them.
all right.
No explanation.
You don't like the Mary Sue thing.
I hate using that term, but sure. Let's
All right.
go with
Well, look. I'll tell you this. I don't think that Rey is an unlikable character. I think that's unfair. I think the problem is because she's in a trilogy that clearly hasn't been thought out, her characterization, just like almost every other character in the new trilogy, we don't know them.
No, I agree. That's my problem. I'm not saying like as an actress, I love Daisy Ridley. I think she's amazing. She did the best she could with the material she was given. But
Hmm.
they wrote her in such her because we know very little about her. Everything was revolving around her parents, and no, it wasn't. Yes, it was. You just kind of throw your hands up at a certain point, and you stop caring about what the characters are going through. And also Finn. I guarantee you, J.J. Abrams was trying to build up that he was a Force user in the first movie,
I
and
I don't
they
know.
completely threw him out the window.
I don't know if he necessarily had to be a Force user to be compelling, because I think the idea of a stormtrooper breaking free from that and actually wanting to do good was good enough in itself.
It
Which,
was.
but the thing is, his arc was kind of done in the first movie, and then they kind of had him retrograde in the second movie, and then he
Let's
doesn't
not
really
talk
go
about the
anywhere.
second
You know
movie.
what? Actually, you know one thing that really pissed me off about Skywalker was, dude. Apparently, they spent a lot of time trying to edit that movie to get it to be, watchable.
Right.
This pissed me off. What was he trying to say to Rey? We'll never know.
We'll never know.
Because I don't know. Did they forget this? Somebody in the editing room, they watched the whole thing.
Unless they were trying to imply like he liked her and they didn't want to come out outright and say it.
You can't leave me hanging.
That's just dirty.
No, you set up a plot point. This is something working throughout the movie. Like, okay, I need to tell you something. Was it I'm a Force user? Was it I love you? Was it I need to tell you the secret? What was it? What was
Another
it?
thing I was talking about and why I don't like Rey, or kind of don't like Rey, is when they brought her back at the end through some Force bullshit where Kylo Ren now all of a sudden knows Force revive when he's been a dark Force user for his entire life mostly.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden he knows like light side Force powers that are incredibly complex.
I don't know, man.
My point is, if they would have killed her off, had the courage to kill her off, which would have been actually a really good decision, because this is the end of the trilogy anyway. The characters are done. You kill her off, have her go out in a very very ambitious and great way. I would have been fine with that. And then you have Finn basically at her grave say what he was going to say to her at her grave. That would have been a great way to tie up sense.
That would have been a really, really strong. You think they should have ended the movie that way?
Yes.
Ooh. All right.
And
well,
maybe you can bring that kid looking up in the sky with the Force powers,
from
and
Last
I'd be
Jedi.
okay. And I'd be okay.
All right. So I think that's a bold choice. I think that would be really strong, tough storytelling. But is the Disney company that's trying to satisfy everybody and make all the kids happy do that? No, they're not going to do that.
Try to please everyone, you don't please anyone.
That's true. Except me when I had no expectations and loved Rise of Skywalker because I just gave up. Like,
well, the original movies, you kill off Vader, right? You kill off Yoda. Death is a part of this world. You can't just say, "Oh, death doesn't happen anymore." Where are the stakes?
No one's ever really gone. Okay.
I mean, technically, it's true. I am a Force ghost.
Well, all right. You know what? I'll tell you what. One thing that all right.
Even Han was a Force ghost, basically.
That was ridiculous. I thought that was more like a vision sort of.
It was a nice scene.
A dream sequence, whatever. It was a good scene. Yes. I'll take it. Well directed, acted, everything. All right, I'll tell you what. The thing that annoys me the most about the whole trilogy, and also the thing that I loved the most about Rise of Skywalker.
What's that?
Well, see, I'll admit I kind of like some of the aspects of the original trilogy, and I'm a Palpatine guy. All right, I'm an Emperor guy. I like my dark, sinister. I like the all big bad evil sorcerer guy. Classic D&D. I like that trope. I'm not gonna lie, I do. I love I love Darth Sidious, Palpatine, Emperor, one of my favorite characters and my favorite villain. Okay, I love him. So I liked the fact that Snoke was kind of like the Emperor of this trilogy, but he had elements of his past, his history. He seemed like they were setting him up, and I thought he was awesome in Last Jedi. And then he gets nixed because the director was like, whatever. And so once again you establish it, and like, okay, well, I was interested to find out more about him. What was his motivation?
Right.
How did he turn Kylo Ren to the
That's
dark
the
side?
thing.
Like, I wanted to know more.
I heard he's really good in Knives Out. I don't want to criticize him.
He's a good director, but like, yeah.
But just because you're doing something unexpected, it doesn't mean that it's good. Or
especially if you're working in an established world, you got to look at the world and what people like, and see what you can play with the tools you're given. You know, you can't just throw out the whole toolbox, I guess.
Well, it was very clear why he did it. He didn't care for what J.J. Abrams was setting up. He wanted his own way of doing things. It's his ego. It's all about ego. It's very clear.
Maybe it wasn't all ego. Maybe he wanted to push Star Wars into a different direction. But this is the thing. How did that get past Disney? Did they just say literally do whatever you want? That's what I don't understand. I don't
like did Ryan not talk to J.J. Abrams about like what he intended?
Like, are you telling me that like the producers were never like, do this, don't do that? Like, I don't understand how logistically, from a business standpoint, Disney let that happen. I would love to know.
Crazy.
I'd love to know. Like,
maybe they were like, let's give them the freedom to do what they want. You know, let's not try to restrict them too much, which is a good idea.
Because in the original trilogy, the Empire Strikes Back and Return of the Jedi were two other directors that mostly did their own thing that Lucas had less involvement with.
True.
So maybe that's what they were thinking. But anyway, the Snoke thing always irritated me. I feel like I'm the only person that cares about Snoke. Whatever, but that's like a nitpick for me.
That was one of the worst aspects of that movie. Was
when just goes.
Like I said before, I like the fact that she was a nobody. You know, that's actually one of the better parts of the movie for me, because you know I like the idea that she wasn't, you know, she's not someone who's handed destiny on a silver platter. That's why I don't like the way Naruto ended, because he was a child of destiny and this god creature. I don't want to get into that too much.
That's okay.
I can talk about that for another 3 hours.
Oh, no.
Yeah. I just do not like the child of destiny trope. It's just because the whole concept of destiny, and I don't want to get too like, too into it here.
Sure.
Comparing it to real world, whatever. But
sure.
The whole concept of destiny is that you don't have control over it, that it's predetermined, that whatever happens is just not in your hands, that it's going to happen regardless of whether or not you do this or that. Yeah. So when a character is basically determined by destiny to be great, then I don't care about their struggle. I don't really feel worried about them if they're going to potentially die or not, because I'm like, oh, they're protected by destiny. They have godlike plot armor, essentially.
Yeah.
And nothing that they do really matters. Any struggle that they've been through was predetermined anyway, and that they really didn't earn any of the victories that they achieve. So that's how I see it generally when it comes to that stuff. So when she was determined to be someone outside of that, and that's why I like Berserk so much, because the whole concept is Guts is the one person in that story who is outside of destiny, or one of the few. Technically, Skull Knight is also.
Yeah.
And he's fighting against what destiny is trying to hold him. Destiny is an oppressive force in that world, trying to put its boot down on other people, and he is outside of that, actively fighting it. That's why I love Guts so much as a character, because I hate that concept. But yeah, now I'm just getting all over the place. But you get what I'm trying to say here is, Rey, that was the one kind of redeeming quality of Rey, and they just kind of ignored it for the third movie because J.J. Abrams wanted his Palpatine child.
And I will say that the whole Palpatine thing, like whatever, I guess. It was silly, it was dumb fan fiction, but I was just happy to have Palpatine back and being Palpatine. And
he did the lightning thing, that was cool.
Yeah, shot the whole like fleet with his lighting. I'm like, cool. Yeah,
cool.
Yeah, so it's like I was just happy he was back. I didn't care. Like, it's stupid, but I just fucking turned my brain off for it and was like, whatever.
I tried. I really tried. I was in the theater with my sister and her husband, right?
Mm-hmm.
They were visiting, and I didn't even want to see the movie. I really didn't. But they're like, "Come on, we want to go see it. Come with us." And they're casual fans. They're not big into Star Wars. They don't care about this or that or the other thing.
Mm-hmm.
They just enjoy things for the pure enjoyment value. So I was entering the movie, with the expectation, like, I'm gonna hate it, they're gonna love it, but it's fine. They're gonna be happy. throughout the movie, the Palpatine reveal and all the other and many other times throughout the movie, the entire theater was laughing at the movie. And my sister and her boyfriend were like, "This is fucking stupid. This is really stupid."
Well, I can't deny that.
And I was surprised. I'm like, wow, this movie was so bad. Even the casual viewer, it's obvious that this is just terribly written. So that made me happy. That made me feel like I'm validated in some way.
Okay.
Because there are some opinions that I have that the general public just do not agree with. So,
like what?
There are some shows that I don't like that people really love, like Fairy Tail, for example, or I don't know if I want to say this on your channel.
Oh, don't do it. Don't fucking do it. Don't do it. What is it?
I think Dragon Ball Z is kind of just average.
It's fucked up. It's fucked up, man. It's fucked up.
We've talked about this before. I'm sure.
I'm sure we have at some point. It's fine. I mean,
I love this. I like Dragon Ball, the original Dragon Ball, actually better.
Yeah, I think the early arcs are definitely better written and paced. Absolutely. But we talk about Dragon Ball as a whole. Remember, you can't just pick and choose your series.
I know, but they are very different. You have to admit.
Yeah, I mean sci-fi action. I got you. But no, I agree with you. I agree with you for the most part. Yeah.
But I'm not going to get into that.
For a second, I thought you were going to say Fullmetal Alchemist. Then I was going to be like,
No, I think Fullmetal Alchemist is incredible. Like, I don't like it as much as some people do, but it's without a doubt, objectively, one of the best written animes of all time.
No, okay. Well, all right. All right. See, all right. Okay.
Amazing.
It's just okay.
I'm just not the biggest Ed and Al fan.
Yeah, I remember that came up a lot, which is interesting. Yeah. But
But they're interesting characters. They have a good character. They're written well. It's just not my particular cup of tea, but they are objectively great characters.
I got you.
So over the years, I've learned to see that my opinion doesn't necessarily mean that I can separate my own personal feelings from like how good I think they are, just generally speaking.
Sure. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I know. I try to do that all the time as well.
I try to be objective on one hand, part of my brain objective, part of my brain is
it's hard to be fully objective though when you're like an emotional person with but I think the important thing is we try to like say, okay, well,
you have to.
I wasn't attached to this.
Like for example, like Evangelion. As a kid, I hated Evangelion.
Okay.
Hated it. This is as a kid. Keep in mind, don't kill me in the comments, guys. Please don't murder me. I just felt like it was very pretentious. Even as a child, I didn't even know what pretentious meant, but
it is a little pretentious.
Felt so edgy and like over dramatic, and I'm just like, come on, man, get in the goddamn robot.
Zoro, it's an anime.
Yeah, even by anime standards, Evangelion is extra.
So extra.
It is so over the top.
It's classic though, man.
But that was when I was younger. That was my opinion. But as I grew older, I started to recognize the brilliance, the cinematography, the depth of the characters, the struggles they were going through. As I go through my own struggles in life, you start to relate a little bit more with characters and whatnot. And while I still think you should get in the goddamn robot and stop being a goddamn bitch, Shinji.
He does, though. He does get in the robot.
He does get in the robot. And I have a much more of appreciation for the story.
Good.
And the characters. So that's an evolution, a lot of people have to have.
Well, no, I mean, and that's perfectly fine. No, and I agree. I mean, and I think that sometimes is tough for people, but you're right. You can relate to things and you can look at it from a different lens. Though I want to go back to this Dragon Ball thing because I remember you said at one point you should have been Vegeta fanboy. So I know there's still some love. Absolutely. Like I think Vegeta is a great character, but the problem was over the years, especially recently, it's kind of fallen off my love for Vegeta because of Super. I don't like the way they're handling him in Super. Well, I know there were good moments for him in Super. I forgot the character's name, the other Saiyan that he fought in the Tournament of Power. Yeah. The weakling Saiyan. He was basically mentoring him, giving him lessons. I respect that. I think Super was just a mistake in general. Well, some things shouldn't be touched. Because they're classic. They're fine. Because some things are just complete. Even though they might not have like a perfect ending, but some things are just complete. And when you add things to it just for the sake of nostalgia, I know many people love it. That's another thing that people disagree with. I actually haven't seen all of it because I dropped it. I know I got a lot of. It's a lot of one of those things I followed along with it little by little, and I Actually, somebody put up one of those like massive like condensed things for the arc with all the fights and stuff.
Right.
I'm like, I went through some of it, but the thing is, I like a lot of Super in concept because one thing I like about Super
What's that?
is I feel like it genuinely is all those little fan fiction ideas I had as a kid. Like, what if Frieza came back with his soldiers and had to fight people? And I'm like, ooh, they actually did it. Like, that is pretty cool to see my childhood like ideas come to the big screen and be canon.
Right.
But it doesn't mean that it's like particularly well written or smart.
There are. I would be a liar if I said there weren't like great moments in Super, like really enjoyable moments,
like fan moments, for a lot of the characters.
They legitimately are. Do you watch the Bridge series?
Dude, come on.
I was saying, have you seen the Broly? I want to make sure the Broly.
I have seen everything that Bridge has done.
I just wanted to make sure before but I feel like the way Vegeta felt about Broly. I'm like, it's so cool, but it's so stupid. It's so cool, but it's so stupid. That's the problem. Is that they have ideas for set pieces and things that they want to accomplish, and they have little bullet points, but they have no idea how to connect them.
No, like the little bits of like world building they've done in Super with the different universes and the gods and the different the aliens. Like there's so kind of like with Star Wars, Dragon Ball has a very potentially very interesting world that can be fleshed out, and they do a little bit, but then it's like this is a show about fighting, so we'll just fight, and like I feel like a lot of my friends as we've grown up. We're like, we one time we joked, I think in a podcast a couple years ago, like, you know what? I'd be fine if there was like an arc where there was no fighting. It was just like people trying to like hang out and whatever. Like we could watch like, how like those classic things were like Krillin as a cop or Goku trying to get a normal job. Seriously.
Goku trying to get his license.
Trying to get his seriously. Or like, like a lot of these things, they could be more fun. Like
that'd be hilarious.
That'd be more interesting than just putting
Goku in like a regular like a social situation or something.
Like an original Broly movie, I think it was, where he has to be interviewed for like the schools where I want more of that. Like Goku trying to be a normal person is comedy gold.
It is.
Like so there's so much you can do with it. And it's just like and even if they try to go into like exploring like another adventure, go to some world and have to save some kingdom, there's just do that. Like just fucking do that. I don't know.
The problem is once you escalate the scale to scales of destroying universes, you can't really build a very condensed and personal story. At least not. It's harder to do.
Well, it's because people expect more, but but eventually you hit that plateau you can't get, and it becomes stupid. Like as kids, we say, "Oh, what happens if they can blow up the whole galaxy?" And now that's what it's become. It's because it's gotten to that point, and I think
running out of things to do.
If people went back and did like a prequel, I'll give you one. Here's one I'd like. I would love a prequel series about Master Roshi learning to be who he was back in old school Dragon Ball, a martial arts thing, his beginnings to when he became a badass. Let's see.
That would be amazing, bro. I would take that over Super any day of the week.
That's what I want. I want more condensed, more character driven, more world building comedy from Toriyama. Let's go back to basics, if anything.
Did you get to the World Tournament arc or the Tournament of Power? Did you get to that in the anime?
Like I said, I've seen bits. I just look, Well,
I just want to say because speaking of Master Roshi, like there's the villain of the arc, so to speak. He's the antagonist, really. He's not really a villain, but he's like super powerful. He's stronger than Vegeta, Goku combined.
Jiren, I think.
Jiren, yes.
Yeah.
And like he's dodging. Master Roshi is dodging attacks from this guy.
All right, you know what? Look, Master Roshi is awesome, but I remember you had a big problem with some of the canon stuff because in the Frieza movie, Piccolo was like fighting. Oh man, he's Zarbon level, and you were like, wait, what? Power level? Whoops.
Yes. Exactly. Piccolo, I believe, was struggling with someone that was Zarbon level.
Maybe it's because he hadn't trained in a long time.
Come on, man, you fall that hard. You can fight Android 17, Hellzone grenades, and then now I can't fight. I can fight against Cell, but no, now I can't fight against someone Zarbon.
It's bullshit. It was a bad line. It just shouldn't have been a line in there.
That's the thing is in Super, the scaling of the characters is all over the place. Master Roshi is somehow stronger than Tien. Like 17 is all of a sudden like the super powerful dude, like super powerful, like near Vegeta level. It just doesn't make any sense.
I mean, I don't know exactly. I'm guessing. Well, right. 17 and 18 became humans, right?
Yeah. Okay. 17's a park ranger now.
Yeah, well, that's fine. I think he was doing that at the Majin Buu arc.
Yeah, no, nothing wrong with that. I'm just saying he's a park ranger, but he all of a sudden got super powerful. Piccolo decreased and went to Zarbon level. He went to
what was 17 training during this time?
They don't say. You think they care to say?
All right. Well, I guess you're right, but yeah. Well, look, I guess you have to once again turn your brain off for the scaling stuff. Like, okay, whatever. Because
It's hard to
I heard Master Roshi gets it's also silly because it's Dragon Ball. You have to remember that too.
Yeah, there's a certain level of camp to it. You have to, just kind of accept.
Yeah, I mean, remember that as serious as Dragon Ball can be, it is supposed to be a fun, silly show. Like, remember, like
I
that's
know, no, I understand that. That's why it was never one of my favorites. I was always a Hakusho guy. I was more Hakusho over Dragon Ball, and I was more Bebop over anything. So.
Well, look, Hakusho is probably a better written, darker show.
Hakusho has its flaws too, though.
Hakusho has its flaws, but I will say Hakusho is better than Dragon Ball in a lot of ways. But I still love Dragon Ball a little more.
Yeah.
Just but Bebop is a fantastic show, but I love Dragon Ball more than it.
That's fair.
But I'll be honest, and we've talked about this before. I think I kind of like Shampoo a little more though.
Like honestly, I've seen a lot of people say that nowadays.
Which I don't have a coherent analytical reason. I'm like I just really like Samurai Champloo. I don't know.
I know back in the day I was far more vehement in defending Bebop, but I've come to accept that. That's just the way people have preference,
Bebop doesn't have to be defended. It's like one of the best. It's like.
But on YouTube, I would be like, well, let me tell you why you're wrong. And usually back in the day, I used to be like that. But now I'm just like, all right, I get you. You got your opinion. I mean, I don't agree with it, but it's fine.
You have it, though, so I can have mine.
I respect it. What do you think about the possibility of the live action, man? It's happening.
For Bebop? Oh, for the Netflix one? Is it a movie or is it a show, actually?
I think it's a show.
Well,
Alden Kumar's the.
Yeah, Kumar's got to be Spike. I think Bebop's one of those ones that it might have a chance because it's anime. The only anime live action I've seen, for the most part, tends to be ones that are very grounded in realism, and Bebop does not involve too many superpowered stuff and magic. So I think that if it was more like Firefly.
I was gonna say, give me a Firefly. I'm happy.
Just make it like Firefly, and that's basically Bebop. So like, it's doable. It's doable. I love
Firefly so much.
And where's that?
He's too old now.
I don't care. I think he'd come back. I don't care. But it does. Did you see the movie? You saw the Serenity, right?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, it got an ending.
I know, but it just feels kind of rushed.
Well, it's all they got, man, and nobody went to see it because nobody cares about Firefly, man. Nobody cares about it.
I care.
I know you care, and I care. And then I remember going to a convention, and there were thousands of people at that panel. It was the biggest panel I've ever been to at a convention.
Really?
And guess what? That's probably the only fan base for Firefly. They're hardcore. They'll go see the people, but there's not enough money. Not enough people like Firefly.
Oh, that's good.
I know.
Are there any new shows, like sci-fi shows, that you're really into?
Sci-fi? Oh, I wish.
Yeah.
Man.
There's a show on Netflix that's okay. It's not great. That I've been watching, Altered Carbon.
Ro told me about that. Shot Anime. She said that was good. The only like science fiction stuff that I thought is really good is probably Orphan Black. I mean, or not Orphan Black. I always get Orphan Black was good, but help me out. Black Mirror. Sorry, Black Mirror.
Black Mirror. Yeah. That's good.
Black Mirror is very good. Though honestly, it's
not sci-fi necessarily.
It's like light science fiction dystopia.
Right. Yeah.
But you mean like hardcore spaceships, robots?
Have you seen The Expanse?
I've heard The Expanse is good.
The Expanse is very good. I'm not caught up. I'm a season or two behind, but it is like the first couple of seasons. The way they build the world, the characters, everything about it is fantastic.
All right.
So I definitely recommend you check that out for sure. It's well written. It's well written.
I've heard that.
Amazon show. It's an Amazon Prime show.
I'm trying to think. Actually, help me out. Are there any other? Because I admit, like my TV, I'm like only watching specific things. Netflix has given me that opportunity. I've been more of in like a fantasy mood lately, I guess. Like I finally watched The Witcher. So.
Oh, nice. How'd you like that?
Oh, I mean, I've got one more episode to go, but I really love The Witcher. I want to play the games now.
Oh, you haven't played the games?
I've never played the games.
Oh, The Witcher, bro. You got to play The Witcher 3. Good thing about Witcher 3 is that you don't even really need. I mean, you probably.
But this is the thing. And everyone's told me this. I know everyone's like, play The Witcher 3, Wild Hunt. I'm like, I like my story. I want to play Witcher 1 and 2. I want to. So
Right. I never played Witcher 1, so I can't speak on it. I played a little bit of Witcher 2, but I basically got into it with 3. You don't really need to know much about it to jump right into 3. And you're watching the Witcher show anyway, right?
True.
And that takes place right before basically the first game for the most part.
Okay.
And you could start from the first, but it's not mandatory.
Well, I looked up a little. I was trying not to spoil too much, but apparently the third game is like a direct sequel to the second game. So
Right.
that I might need to check that out.
True.
I played like a little bit of the second game, and I remember thinking it was kind of hard. I didn't understand the magic system, I guess, but I'd have to go back and try it again. Like I've been getting back into trying to tackle some more things.
No, absolutely. The Witcher franchise is fantastic. I love it.
Do you like it better or more than Dragon Age though? Because remember you like Dragon Age a lot.
I mean, that's my favorite games of all time, or Dragon Age games. But to be fair, the second Dragon Age game is not great. The third one is fantastic. I've spent more money and time in Dragon Age than anything else, so that's unfair. It's unfair to compare the two.
Well, wait a minute. So, okay, that's one of the games I'm going through now. I'm playing Origins, and I decided to skip to.
Nice.
I'm playing Origins again. I'm playing it as the human this time.
Okay.
I played the dwarf originally.
I love the dwarf. Yeah. Which dwarf, commoner or the dwarf like noble?
I think I can't remember because it was so long. I think I was a noble that time.
Yeah, that was a good storyline with the noble.
I liked him, so I'm a human this time. And I got Inquisition, and I'm like, I like this, but I'm going to go back and play Origins again because I like the story in Origins a lot. But I deliberately skipped the second game because I remember everybody I talked to was like, the second game sucks. Everybody said that. Everybody.
Dragon Age, it kind of does, yeah. It's still Dragon Age, but the problem is in the first game, as you know, the world is open to you. I mean, it's not like an open world game, but like there's a map and you can go to different places and have different things.
Yeah.
And in the second game, you're limited to a city essentially, and a couple of locations outside the city, which kind of like limits it, in my opinion. It makes it feel very constricted. With Dragon Age Origins felt like it was like you're affecting the world. You're traveling, and even though you're not going to like Orlais and all that, you're still like affecting the world. It was a little too condensed. The main character isn't that great, and he's a set main character. So that's kind of a thing. It's not bad. It's not bad.
Well, let me ask you this too, because I admit it's funny. Despite my name, I've always been more of a sci-fi guy until recent years. I feel like I've gotten more into like traditional medieval fantasy and stuff more. Okay. So I like Dragon Age quite a bit, but you said Dragon Age is like your favorite games, but yes. Do you think they're better than the Mass Effect games? Because I think Mass Effect is amazing. I know it's a big debate. Both BioWare, though.
That's the problem. I think if we're talking about Mass Effect 1 and 2, it's probably better than.
You mean because of Mass Effect 3's ending being what it was? Yeah, that's true. Okay, how about pretend the ending doesn't exist?
That's the thing. If the ending doesn't exist, Mass Effect's better.
Okay, all right. That's what I thought. The
issue I have with Mass Effect is that it kind of has that constricting feeling I was just talking about, especially in the first game.
You go to a bunch of planets.
Kind of in the third game, it feels like you're limited to certain locations. Like, yeah, you can kind of use the rover and go to worlds and whatnot, but it feels like considering you're literally able to travel to different galaxies and different planets and solar systems. It'd be great to actually be able to explore some of those, and you don't get a chance to do that enough, in my opinion, in the Mass Effect games. So the characters and the writing is amazing. The Mass Effect games are one of my favorites too, so I'm not trying to hate those at all.
Now I got another question for you because do you know what game series I've actually been tackling the most, which has kind of been the forefront of these things?
All right, give me a hint.
Well, it's probably the most popular, probably the most popular RPG game series out there, I guess. I think maybe like mainstream. I want to say it's like, and basically your favorite thing is open world. This is probably some of the most open world exploration you can have in a fantasy game. It's pretty classic. I think it might be so obvious you won't even think of it.
Oh, it's Skyrim?
Yeah, Elder Scrolls. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, so not Skyrim. You're playing
all right.
Skyrim? You're playing which one? Oblivion?
All right. Well, actually, what happened was I had never really played through Skyrim. Like I played a bit of it back in the day, but I never actually did the main quest, right? So I did that and I got like kind of obsessed with all that. And then I'm like, you know what? But Oblivion was my first one, so I'm going through Oblivion and I'm
Yep.
loving Oblivion so much. I'm getting
Did you get the
so
expansion? Did you
with
get the
I have
Isles expansion?
I haven't played it yet. I want to go through.
Oh,
Wait, no. Listen,
so
I'm like,
good.
dude. I know. I'm trying to do like main quest. Got Dark Brotherhood, Thieves Guild, Mage. I'm trying, but I know about Knights of the Nine. I know about Shivering Isles. I'm like, but I'm excited. But I
Bro,
haven't. I
you
never
haven't
played it.
met the best boy Shield Gorath yet.
I know about him, but and I'm like I'm holding it off. I know all about it. I'm like, and the thing is, and I found myself because thing is, since I'm working from home, I've been able to play all these old games and actually focus on them. And I've got Skyrim on the PC through Steam, so I can
Nice.
play it if I have some downtime, which is nice. But I have to physically go over to my old Xbox 360 to play Oblivion. So I feel like I've been playing Skyrim more. But like, I'll be honest, I'm loving Oblivion, and I've never played Morrowind. I want to like try Morrowind. I'm like,
Yep.
and I even found this is how I've been so obsessed. I even found some old emulators of Arena and Daggerfall and
Wow.
attempted. Yes, and they are so hard. But I'm just like,
Wow. Going deep.
I'm loving it, man. I'm getting obsessed with Elder Scrolls, and I'm like, what is wrong with me? I'm just loving it so much.
That's awesome. Yeah, that's I love the Elder Scrolls games. They're really good. I would say if you're playing Skyrim, the one faction I do not like is the mages. I forgot the name. The
College of Winterhold.
College of Winterhold. That I love playing with magic in that game, but Jesus, the College of Winterhold so underwhelming.
Well, this is the thing I found about Skyrim, man. I want to get your opinion on this because, like, I feel like it's such old news for people. Nobody really is like cares what I have to say about it because I'm like, I'm finally playing Skyrim, but I'm still loving it for the first time. It's great.
Yeah.
Like, I liked the main quest, and what I did was I did the opposite of what I'm doing. The
Played the main quest.
no, I played.
Most people play Skyrim 100 hours. They don't even do the main quest.
Seriously?
Go ahead, I'm sorry.
Seriously?
Yeah, they just go to investigate different places, random places.
Well, and that's the thing. When I played it back in the day, I was like, "Oh, it blew my mind! I can just wander around this beautiful world." And that's why I never played because I I could never get into a storyline. And whatever, stupid excuse. But I was like, you know what? I actually want to start playing these games for real. And I played the main quest, and I was focused on. I just did that, no side quests, because I'm the kind of person I like linear, and that's the thing. If it's too open, sometimes I get distracted, right?
I see.
So I'm like, I want to play the main quest with Alduin, and I liked it. But I started kind of going by, what people say online, what's best. I'm like, okay, Dawnguard sounds interesting. I'm going to do Dawnguard. I liked it a lot. I liked the vampire stuff. I kind of liked the Dragonborn quest, though I was a little disappointed with it. I didn't love it, surprisingly. And then I'm like, okay, what do I do next? I'll do the Thieves Guild. I'm like, Thieves Guild was started off pretty cool, but then I'm like, okay, this is kind of generic like everything else. And I'm like, I started Dark Brotherhood and Oblivion, and I like those characters. I'm like, everyone says Dark Brotherhood is better than Oblivion. I'm like, it just seems lame. I don't know. Like some of the after playing like the main quest, the DLCs, and the Thieves Guild, I'm just like, I don't really care about Skyrim now. I'm like, I don't care about the Dark Brotherhood. I don't care. I don't know.
I've always loved the companions. The companions are great.
They're like the Fighters Guild. Where are they actually?
They're in the first city. They're I got the name of the city. I don't remember.
Is it Riverwood or Riften?
Riverrun?
Riverwood?
It's oh my god! It's the one with the Skyforge. It's one of the. It's literally the first major city you go to.
It's Riverwood, right? Yeah.
I think it's called River Run. I could be wrong. Doesn't matter. Whatever it's called, you know what I'm talking about.
I must have missed. I'm sure that they probably said, "Oh, you can join the companion."
Are you planning? They're in the main building, right down the main street, right? They're the Fighters Guild technically, but they actually have a really cool kind of like secret.
They do.
They do.
Okay, because I liked the Thieves Guild because I liked the fact you were like an organized crime unit. You were going to like shake people down. You were sabotaging other businesses. I liked that. But then it became, we got to like, there's a betrayal. I'm like, okay. And then it's like, you got to go to the goddess of like, what? I'm like, this doesn't seem like a Thieves Guild thing. I don't know. It just.
You play as a thief? Is that why you went to them?
No. I'm just playing just a sword and shield guy like I usually do, and I just like.
You would think that the Fighters Guild would be the boring one, but they're actually kind of interesting, at least in my opinion. The Winterhold one is the I could not stand the College of Winterhold. Right.
That's actually what I'm playing now because my other buddy Gimli was like, I liked the mages. And I'm like,
they're really it's not good, man.
But from between you and him, it sounds like a lot of basically
it's monotonous. It's a problem.
all the dungeons start to feel the same. And I'll tell you this, like it seems like the consensus is Oblivion has better guilds, the guild quests. It seems like I don't know. I guess they're just more interesting. I like them so far. I don't know what it is.
Yeah, I really liked Oblivion. It's been a long, long time since I've played it.
I really
with like the Daedra castles and stuff over and over again, it gets repetitive too.
well, I'll be honest. I remembered people saying that the main quest in Oblivion was bad because of all the Oblivion gates, but I'm not closing all the Oblivion gates. I'm just saying, fuck that. I'm going to do the main ones. I'm not going to every one that's open. I'm not doing that. Like, I know you can, but like, if you get more reinforcements for Bruma. The only difference would be
I'm the kind of person that doesn't feel good finishing the main story unless everything else around it is finished.
No, because if you close the main
I'm that person. I'm that person.
All right. Well, this is the thing. I know the Oblivion gates are going to be tedious. So I'm like, you know what? If I close the main one, they all close. And then the Thalmor and Skyrim are going to take credit for what I did anyway. So it doesn't matter. It doesn't. Good
point. Valid point. Valid point. But yeah, you should definitely have you downloaded any of the what do you call it? The fan-made stuff for Skyrim. What do you call it? The mods?
Not really. I haven't touched too many mods yet. I went through most of it without using cheat codes or anything to it. I did play around with console commands finally, and sometimes they are fun. But I haven't done any mods yet, though. I'll tell you what I really want to play when it finally comes out. If I don't know where it's going to be, I want to play Sky Oblivion. Yeah, there's this group that they're making Oblivion from the ground up with Skyrim's engine.
Oh, sweet.
Yeah, I want that. I want to get, but you have to have a copy of, I guess, Skyrim and Oblivion, I guess, for your PC to make it work. So
I see.
I don't know, but
I will say this, since we were talking about this originally. As much as I do love the Skyrim games and the Elder Scrolls games in general, if you look at it in its totality, they are excellent. But I will say the Witcher games are just overall better games.
Okay.
Bar none. You get a lot of tedious stuff and a lot of side quests. That's the way it is. But they're much more like even a side quest in The Witcher feels like it's engaging and rewarding because there's either comedy involved, they're interesting, they're unique, they have fun rewards. There's a lot of meat there. It's not just like they throw a big world and they throw random things in the big world. There's a living world.
I think that something, I guess what I like about Elder Scrolls is because they are so immersive. You feel like you can just be you in the world doing everything you want because you can make up your own character backstory in your mind. So I think that there is an element of that is great. But when it comes to playing a game, keeping me focused, if I have a story that's a little more linear like that, like more like a Dragon Age or Mass Effect, I tend to be more engaged in those more cinematic ones.
I see you. But the thing about Witcher is that the story is a little bit more... Like, you can't customize your character. You're playing as Geralt, right? But I think it works out, actually, because I think that the interaction between you and the world is actually more personal, and it's written better, and it actually feels like they actually cared enough to write, as opposed to just throwing you in a sandbox.
All right.
And kind of giving you a basic outline of what to go for.
Okay.
The world is really interesting. The characters are really well done. There's great writing.
Can I ask you this though? It's an RPG. Do you at least get to choose your decisions with conversations and what you do at certain?
Oh, yeah, there are multiple endings.
Okay, good. So it isn't just okay. All right.
There are multiple endings.
Right.
It's ultimately, at least the third game is about defeating an evil, so to speak. But there are multiple ways that it could go out. So, there's definitely agency, so to speak, in it.
Oh.
But like as a D&D fan, yes, I prefer to make my own characters. So,
okay.
But I just feel like the writing is so incredible, and the characters are so interesting and kind of complex in The Witcher. It's more engaging because Skyrim feels a little like you're just thrown in a sandbox and just
do what you want, you know.
Yeah, which I love. It's great, but Witcher Game of the Year for a reason. It was so good last night.
Right. Yeah, people are raving about it. I've been hearing Witcher 3, man. You got to play it.
It's you'd like it, I think.
I probably would. I got just from watching the show. I'm like,
a lot of politics and stuff too involved. A lot of political decisions you have to make, and the world is certainly well thought out for sure.
Yeah, well, I'm gonna get to it. It's like one of like 30 games I gotta like get on my backlog. Seriously, like it's really bad.
Yeah,
I'm gonna get through, but yeah, I'm kind of jumping around between like 10 different things, but you know.
Yeah, man, time is always the biggest problem. You know, getting any time to do anything. There's so many games on backlog. This is one game I'm playing, Disco Elysium. Have you heard about it?
No idea what that
On
was.
Steam.
That.
I recommend you at least check it out. It's very unique. It works on a D20 system. There's not really combat. It's really hard to really quantify it and explain it in a way that makes sense. But it's very metaphysical.
Okay.
Very. It has to do with the mind, and every decision you make kind of dictates who you are.
Interesting.
It's very out there in terms of games.
I like out there things.
It's very out there. I definitely would recommend. I think that because you seem like you would like something that weird.
Well, thank you. I do like weird shit sometimes. I'm not gonna lie.
But in a good way. I mean it in a good way that it's not your standard like run around hit things.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of it's dealt with like text. Like you click a text box, you choose that thing, you choose that thing. But a lot of it's based off of skill rolls. If you put points into this,
Dude,
you know,
it
that
sounds
kind
like
of
it sounds like you're describing like an old school text-based D&D game from like the 80s. Which
it is. But the it's very the world itself is kind of I don't know how to describe it. It's very run down. I don't want to say dystopian because it's still technically modern.
is it like Fallout
There's a
kind of?
police officer that is definitely a past drug user and a past alcoholic that wakes up, forgets who he is, and you have this partner that you walk around with trying to solve this murder. And it just kind of like goes from there, and it's super unique. I've never played anything like it.
Huh.
Disco Elysium. I know the name sounds weird, but it's very deep. Like there are a lot of like psychological themes in play.
Huh.
Yeah,
Never heard of it.
yeah.
Yeah,
It's on Steam.
well,
Check it out
I'm planning to get a bunch of stuff on Steam, so I will check that out.
for
You
sure.
know, when you said that, I'm like, okay, so it's either like a dancing game or it's like a game based on that movie Elysium with
It's
with
neither.
that.
There's definitely not. I mean, there technically is dancing.
Ah, okay.
There's a whole quest. There's a whole quest dedicated, and it takes a long time to do this. Dedicated to singing karaoke, and you have to like get like the music, a boombox, and you have to buy the disc and everything, and get to
What?
the and get it's so complicated, but it's fucking hilarious. And then you actually go to sing like your you go to sing your karaoke song, and it's like a super depressing song, and it's hilarious. Some of the dialogue options you get after that, you're like, wow, that was pretty great, wasn't it? That was amazing. It's
Wow.
just I'm not giving it any justice at all. It's really out there, and there are so many different ways you can go with your character
Huh.
that make it feel like you're actually controlling the direction of where the game goes.
Interesting. Huh.
You highly recommend that game for sure.
Awesome. Wow, that's
Absolutely.
new.
Check it out, chat.
Disco Elysium. All right.
Yeah,
Cool.
for sure. But it's weird, man. I'm not gonna lie. Sometimes they say things and I feel like I'm an idiot. I'm like, what are you talking about? Very metaphysical, very out there.
Interesting.
Yeah. Yeah. Like based on different decisions you make, they'll have like a dialogue box over your head and you can click it and it's like, you believe in totalitarianism. Or they'll give you an option. They'll say, do you like, putting your foot on the throats of people you don't agree with, or is totalitarian regimes your thing? Yes or no? And then if you choose it, then you get like this weird skill tree based on totalitarianism. It's so weird. And they have all different kinds of thought processes. Are you a communist? Are you this? Are you that? Are you that? It's so weird. It's so crazy, but I love it.
Interesting.
I love it. I'm gonna stop talking in circles and move on.
No, that's cool. That's cool. Yeah, no, apparently it's an interesting game. Um,
Something else.
yeah, man. I don't know. I think you may have beaten Dead.
This is a long one.
Yeah, this is long. I don't even know how long this is. How long is this?
When did we start? 11:30.
It's 12.
12.
So it's 12.
About 3 hours and 45 minutes.
Fuck. Wow.
Did I beat Dead?
You did. I think he was like a solid 3 hours, and I thought that was long.
In your face, Dead.
Which, by the way, he said he's going to try to check out One Piece again.
Oh man. I know he wasn't the biggest fan of it originally.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. He was like, yeah, man, I hated it. I'm gonna try it again.
Who knows? Maybe new year, new him. What is? I believe I've forgotten exactly what your thoughts are on One Piece exactly.
Oh, I like it. For the most part, from what I've seen, I haven't caught up. I haven't read it in quite a long years. Like Yeah, it's a lot. Honestly, from what I saw though, because I actually went back and watched some of the early episodes again just to kind of get a sense of it. I watched Arlong Park, remember?
Yeah, of
Because
course.
I always liked that with Nami and learning about
Hmm.
her dad. And I was trying to look at it more objectively too, and I'm like, okay, like you said, oh, I know One Piece. You always kind of compared as like being better, and I'm like, I think that it definitely fleshes out the world a little more. And
Hmm.
like there are some nuances to the characters, but maybe it's because it continues and builds as it goes along. But
Hmm.
from what I've seen in One Piece,
Right.
I always thought, okay, the quality of Dragon Ball, yeah, in some ways it's better, but I never thought it was leaps and bounds better. I never understood that. I
Right.
never did. I never thought it was leaps and bounds better because I'm like, because the
The
characters
thing
at the
about the thing about it is, I understand where you're coming from because where you are in Arlong Park, I don't know how far you got. You probably got past Arlong Park.
I got past that. I remember my favorite actually was when Robin was kidnapped.
Oh, the Ennis Lobby. Yes.
I really I loved that arc a lot. That's I think I
Right.
got like around there a little past that, and that was about where I stopped.
Yeah. See, the thing about what I think puts One Piece above series like Dragon Ball is two things. Number one is the actual love and care put into the world. There's actually an interview with Oda and Toriyama where Oda
Oh,
was like gushing over a character, saying, "Oh, you remember this character? I forgot who he was talking about. Maybe Launch."
oh
He's like,
yeah.
"Oh, oh no, I don't think it was Launch. I think it was someone else." He's like, "Oh, remember this guy? He was so funny. I love that character." Oda said to Toriyama about one of Toriyama's characters, and Toriyama's like, "Oh yeah, I think I did remember that. Yeah, I did write someone like that. Yeah, I guess." See, the difference is Oda, in my mind, I could be wrong, really cares about his world to a degree where he puts love into even the weird or unnecessary characters. Um,
uh,
and more than the main cast get their time to really shine and do good stuff. And the level of characters, not just having a lot of characters, but having characters that matter and actually affect the world.
hmm
Um, and having a complex world in general, having interesting government structure and political structure,
hmm
and having themes of racism and other crazy things
Oh yeah.
to really reflect our own world. The level of writing in that regard, when you're comparing the worlds and you're comparing the level of details of the characters, is just second to none. I mean, there's no comparison between One Piece and Dragon Ball. That's what I would say would be the major differences. Dragon Ball has better fights.
Yeah.
Uh, but when it comes to the Straw Hats in general, a lot of the characters can appear static,
I
which is a
maybe that's what it is. It's like I clearly see the shonen trope. Like for instance, Zoro. Like I think Zoro is thus far from what I've seen, I think he's a very good trope explored thus far. But I still see him very much in that box. He's a very good version of that box, but he's still that box. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? No,
No, I'm
I'm
kidding.
just
I
no.
know
It's like
exactly what you
well,
mean.
it's kind of
This,
like I'll
this
give
is
you
a problem
another.
a lot of people have. But go ahead.
And I mean, honestly, I feel like I actually want to keep watching because I when I went back and watched the episodes, I was like, I read a lot. I really I'm enjoying this. I always liked One Piece. Like
Right.
I always thought the world was interesting. And like I said, I think it is it definitely seems like thus far. I think the world is probably more detailed and explored more. I think you're
Right.
right. There's probably more care into
People
that
always say that the best parts of One Piece are when, like,
world
after
building.
after an arc ends, and then we get to kind of leave the Strats for a moment and take a look at what's happening outside of them.
Yeah.
That's generally the best chapters and the best episodes of One Piece in general. So I can understand, like, the Straw Hat Crew, they have their benefits and their flaws. I'm not going to defend all of them and say that they're the best written characters of all time.
hmm
A lot of them are basically kind of whittled down to a couple quirks, like a personality trait and a backstory, and that's kind of how they stay for a certain amount of
And,
time.
and I think there's a lot of that, and that's probably where the easiest Dragon Ball comparison is, and where it's like, okay, they're basically there, and you could argue Dragon Ball might be better because some of those characters do grow, but I guess the thing that One Piece has, I think One Piece, you're right, probably has better world building and detail. I mean, just in general, it does. It explores
Right,
some more complicated themes,
right,
and the characters are more balanced in what they can offer to the story. Like after a certain point, we get to Z. Remember, most human characters don't even matter, right? So
right. That's the thing. But I mean, at the very least, Toriyama was able to. I mean, because he didn't really focus on outside of a few characters. He was able to at least give the few that he did care about more time to kind of build a little.
oh yeah, and I mean, I think
Um,
that, and that's the one thing at this point people could probably say, well, Dragon Ball, some of those characters, they literally aged and grew and You know, like
Well, that's a preference thing because you can't. I mean, it's tough when you have a world as big as Oda's world and you have all these characters. It's kind of hard to focus just on the strats
and
and get
Toriyama just focused on that core.
right. So it's kind of like a balancing act of you
You're
can have
right.
all these characters, and so it's really up to preference. I prefer having much more interesting world filled with a lot of other characters as opposed to focusing on a few because if you don't care for the main characters, if they build up only those main characters, then you're kind of stuck.
Which is actually a kind of with the Fullmetal Alchemist. You like a lot of the side characters more.
Right, but there are a lot of great side characters. That's why Fullmetal Alchemist is great. Like Mustang is probably my favorite.
Oh yeah,
It's like Mustang. Greed is great. Bradley's the best. I love Bradley so much.
Pure Bradley.
He's so goddamn awesome.
He's pretty intense.
So good. Armstrong.
Armstrong. Yep.
Both Armstrongs.
Yeah, both Armstrongs are good.
Yeah, great character list. Of course, Scar's great too. Like I love having a large cast of characters that all are interesting and unique in their ways.
No, and I think that Dragon Ball has that too. I honestly think you're right. It does. Dragon Ball has a great, colorful cast of characters, man. It does. Remember?
I know, but not. I mean, but they either die out or maybe General Tao was interesting when he was introduced, but is he interesting now? That's my problem. Is Oolong interesting now? No.
You're right. That is true.
Interesting now? Yes, that's the problem.
That's true.
And then you have someone like Buggy, for example, who's still relevant and amazing and funny to this point, who was the first villain introduced in the story, essentially.
Yes, and you know what? That care and attention established is like throughout. You're right. Toriyama literally. One thing that Toriyama was good at though.
Okay.
Was bullshitting his way through a popular show.
Amazing.
Because like
he was forced to continue.
He was forced to continue 6 different times, and he literally, I'll just make this up. This wasn't part of the story. And the fact that he was able to make that work so many times is some kind of skill.
Oh my God, it's amazing. Like I give him credit where credit is due. Like he's a pioneer. I'm not trying to take anything away from him. I don't want anyone to get the wrong idea.
Also seems like a nice guy. I don't think he takes himself too seriously either.
No, he doesn't. He's just trying to do his thing. He likes drawing manga. He likes making money. I respect him for everything he's done and the influence he's had on the new generation of creators, Yeah.
You know what, though? I will say what broke through to me, though, kind of with One Piece. For a long time, I didn't get into the My Hero Academia train. Like, I was kind of like, it just seems pretty generic. But I kept watching it, and I'm actually enjoying it more, to be honest. I really am. I think it actually has what you're saying, kind of like one of the best elements of something in One Piece, where I don't know if I've actually said this on the channel, but I think My Hero Academia, from any shonen battle series I've ever seen, I have never watched a show, and I'm missing some things. I've never watched a show where I care about every single side character. They're all unique, they're all interesting, and I want to see what happens to all of them, even if they just have a couple lines. Like every member of that team at the school, I like them all. They're all distinct and memorable, and I care about them. And I can't say that about any other anime I've ever watched.
Very true.
It's really.
Are you caught up to the manga?
Or no, I'm like in the 3rd season of the anime. I'm like right after the what do you call it? They just got attacked at the training course in summer camp.
Oh no.
No, I'm past Stain. Stain. By the way, Stain is like the ultimate 90s comic book character. Yes. Pure evil, I will destroy all. Oh, he was straight Todd McFarlane, like Rob Liefeld, 90s cable.
Rob Liefeld?
Seriously, he is straight 90s camp, like to the extreme. He is.
Yeah, he is. He is kind of that.
It was great.
Yeah, but
I'm loving it.
I 100% agree with the My Hero cast. Like for me, I don't know what it is about main characters. Generally speaking, with shonen, I don't care really that much for the main characters. So a story's got to have great side characters, and Midoriya is no exception to that rule. I don't want to say anything about spoilers, so I won't say too much.
You don't like Midoriya still? Because honestly, thus far,
at the point where you are at, I liked him a lot more. I'll say that.
Okay, because I'll tell you where I am now. The thing I like about him is you could probably guess, he's a shonen character like this who doesn't have the magical power. He's not Goku. He's not all overpowered. So far, I know you see the face. So far, he seems like a guy he's the outlier. He's working for it. He's struggling, and he's learning and growing. He has to earn his power. I love that.
Well,
does that change at some point? Am I gonna hate the show? Because I'll tell you one thing. I'm gonna go off on a rant here. Do you know why I fucking hate Attack on Titan?
Why?
Because at the beginning of the show, it was just normal soldiers fighting these giants. And like, oh, this is intense. How are they gonna take? Oh, he's a Super Saiyan. He's a Super Titan. Like that's when
raise the stakes to ridiculous levels.
Oh, it was stupid. It was so stupid. I hated
I don't
that.
want to. I really don't want to spoil you, so I won't say too much about Midoriya. But he's not. He's a hard worker, sure, but he's handed too much. Is what I'm gonna say.
Well, he was handed a really awesome thing. I just got the I got the I got the impression that it was something he clearly has to learn how to use, and that's
let's just say One for All is really powerful.
Well, I mean, obviously it's
really.
Well, have you seen All Might? I mean, obviously it's powerful.
Well, you've seen nothing yet.
Oh no. Well, okay.
I'll say that. I said too much already. I'm gonna say that.
Man. Well, hopefully that won't change my perspective too much. But so far, I'm like
where I was at, where you are right now. I had a respect for Deku because, like you said, he was a hard worker.
You know who I don't like? I don't like. Is it who's
Kachan?
Kachan. I fucking I hate him so much. Do you know why I hate him?
Why?
Besides the obvious reasons. Okay, he's the jerk character. Blah blah blah. You got to have the trope. Why is he allowed in the school? He's tried to kill people multiple times. Are you kidding me? No, he tries to kill people, and people are reading. Oh no, he's fine. He tries to fucking kill people, and he's allowed.
Well, I mean, who's the number two? Who's the number 2 hero?
I don't. Okay, the number 2 hero kills people. That's a problem at the school for heroes.
Well, he
okay,
doesn't kill people. The number 2 hero is a major asshole at this point in the story, right? Yeah. Endeavor. I'm talking about Endeavor. Of course.
Endeavor.
I guess their thing is like, if you're good at your job, you can be problematic. That's kind of their thing.
Yeah, you can tout your
kind of like
stuff.
A police officer, kind of how that
abusive.
Works.
Yeah, I got you. Tout your authority and your power, and you abuse it. I got you.
I will say, he gets better. He gets better. So
he has gotten a little better. Yeah, okay, you know what my favorite episode was so far? I mean, the last one I remember is what's that?
The fight that they had.
Oh, I don't remember. I'll just tell you the last one I remember, just because. Okay. But it was just the one where they're showing off all their dorm rooms and what they all look like.
Yeah.
That was great. I was just like, I love that. Like, that was awesome. Oh,
shows their personality and stuff. Yeah.
Can you guess who my favorite character is in the show? I'll give you a clue. It's a side character. It's not because they're complex or anything, though they did have a couple episodes, of course, like they all did.
Okay.
There's one thing you don't know about me. So if I told you, I'd probably give it away right away.
Okay, I'm gonna say Ida.
Who's that? I don't know all their names.
You have the glasses?
No. The guy with the jets. He's cool. I do like him. Captain President.
Kirishima, red hair, stone body.
He's cool, but no.
Okay. I forgot the character's name. The one with the dark shadow.
Oh, I do like him. The bird guy. I love that guy. He's actually up there.
Tokiyami's his name. Yes. It's not him.
Not him. They're all so good though. He could be right.
Yeah, they are really good.
I'll give you a clue. It's a female.
I'm so bad with names. Pinky? Is it Pinky? The pink girl with the acid powers? Side character.
Well, I mean, supporting character. I don't know. She's friends with Deku. I mean, she's had some.
The main girl. The main girl?
No, I like the main girl, but no.
No.
Maybe
the girl the cleavage girl. That girl with the powers that she can pull out the iron and stuff. Is that girl?
Oh.
Okay.
Man, you must really hate this character.
Who is it? No, I'm curious.
It's the frog girl.
Froppy, yes.
I love her.
Froppy's awesome.
I love the dogs like this. I love her. It's because I don't know. I love frogs.
She is loved by everyone. She is loved by.
I've always loved reptiles and amphibians since I was a kid, and I don't know. Just I like her personality, and I liked her episode where she had to I mean, I really like her a lot. I really.
It's about the episode where she was out on sea.
Yeah, and she has to help. Yeah, her mentorship or whatever. That was
her
awesome.
With Deku when the place got attacked was really good too.
Yeah, she's great.
Awesome. Froppy's great. Everyone loves Froppy. She deserves.
Froppy. I love her. She's probably my favorite. She's awesome. Like that's what I'm saying. I can't think of too many shows that I care about a minor character like that much.
All right, who do you think is my favorite side character? I haven't named them. All the people I named for you, haven't named them. Also a side character.
Side character. Oh man, I guess defining what's a side character or not. You don't like the guy with the tail? I'm guessing.
No.
Okay,
Although
then.
he's pretty cool.
Do you like the guy Endeavor's son?
No, I mean I do like him, but he's not who I'm talking about.
I'm trying to see if I can remember because it's been a while since I watched it. You don't like the guy that is perverted? I hate him.
No,
He's annoying with his little blobs. I liked him at first until they did that.
No. Minutes is fine. He's funny, but no.
No, he's annoying. Trying to think who else there was. Do you like the guy that's the pretty guy? He's a pretty awesome
naval laser guy.
No. Yeah, he's a naval laser guy.
He's hilarious.
Do you like the tree guy?
Not the tree guy. Not Conley Woods. No.
Damn, he's cool.
He's
I'm
cool,
just trying to remember them.
I'll give you one more.
Okay. Who is the dude? Oh wait, side character. Oh wait, is it the teacher? The teacher that looks really tired all the time.
Oh no, the Kakashi guy. No, not the Kakashi.
not the Kakashi. Oh man, he's up there for me.
He's great though. He's great.
Damn,
a lot of the side characters are great. My favorite side character, for weird reasons, I don't even know why I like him so much, but I feel like he has great potential. Is Kaminari?
Remind me who he is again.
The lightning guy. The lightning.
I was gonna guess that. I thought that was obvious.
Yeah. I love his little gimmick where usually in anime, all the lightning powered people are super like strong and ridiculous, and he's this goofy mess up that everyone never takes seriously. And
he shorts out all the time.
He shorts out all the time, but he has moments where he shines, and I like rooting for an underdog like that. So, and I like lightning power, so I'm like, I like you, Kaminari. You're cool. And I think did you get to the festival where the schools fight each other, or no? Did I spoil something?
I remember early on the schools were competing. Wait. Isn't the first part like a race or something? It's like
no, that was the second season. The third season they also have another one.
Okay, no, I must not have gotten to that one yet. No.
Okay. Well, yeah, he has a great moment in there as well. So yeah, I really like Kaminari. He's a great character. In the manga, he's doing some good stuff too. So yeah, that's my favorite.
Oh shit. I can't. I mean, I do want to wrap this up soon because I'm tired and I have to work tomorrow. But
yeah, it's
it is. But I have to tell you because dude, I have only really been reading one manga and I haven't picked it up in a while. I got like 100 chapters or so in.
Okay, what is it?
And it was a manga you recommended years ago.
Oh,
dude, I really love Vinland Saga.
Yes,
I love it, man.
Isn't it so good?
I was like, I don't know why I didn't read this years ago. Like, I remember you told me to read it. I read the first chapter and I was like, But you know what it was that did it? Is we started watching Vikings. And I was like, Vinland Saga, Vikings, a good show. And I'm like, Vinland Saga is basically like, all right, I'll check it out. I'm like, wow, this is just like Vikings, the anime. That's what this is.
So are you reading it or watching it?
Only reading it. I'm not going to watch the anime. How's the anime? Is it any good?
Incredible. It's a fantastic adaptation.
Well, you know what? I might finally be one of those snobby guys that's like, now I'm just gonna read the manga because I'm 100 chapters in. I'm not gonna wait.
Might as well. I mean, yeah. I would say after you read the manga or after you get to a certain point because the anime stops at a certain point. Where are you in the manga so I don't spoil anything?
Oh man, I forget. It was after.
Let's say you remember.
Oh man.
No pressure if you don't remember.
Because I'm like, it's been a while since I picked it up. Hold on a second.
No problem. Take your time.
I got my work laptop here. So
yes, let me just say to the chat while he's doing that.
All right.
Go watch or read Vinland Saga.
And I agree with him. Like I should have if you like Berserk, or if you like history, honestly, like it's just really fucking.
You like a good story. Like you don't even have to be an anime fan to appreciate.
Or
a manga fan. It just stands on its own 2 feet because of the writing. It's incredible. Go check it out, please. It's one of my top 3 favorite manga of all time.
Oh, it's good. It's up there for me. I'm at 104. And Vinland Saga, The Fettered Turn. It's God, what happened? He just a couple chapters ago, he just reconnected with the king again and found out that he was like attacking the farm that he'd been working on for a long time. That just happened, basically. Okay. So just got there. So basically just got it. They just got their freedom. and right then the king came and he's trying to unite the lands, and yeah. So yeah, that's I'm a little
you got past the part where a certain someone dies.
yeah, which surprised me, and I'll say one thing, not trying to spoil anything for people, but the one thing that really surprised me is that I thought that it was going to follow the main character like throughout his whole journey. And there's a break. There's this big break where like it diverts, and it's like it just the characters split, go a completely different direction.
Yeah.
The king's growth does like a 180, and I'm like,
Canute is amazing. Canute is an incredible character. He gets compared to Griffith a lot.
I can see that, but I don't.
Because of the appearance, pretty much. That's about it.
But I mean, they're similar. But I think that his motivation is perhaps more noble than Griffith's, because Griffith just wanted power for power's sake, whereas he believes
Griffith did everything wrong. Remember that, chap. Everything wrong.
But I mean, you could get into the
No, he did everything wrong. No, the anime for Vinland Saga ends at that certain point where the death. So it literally season 1 ends right there.
Oh, so it's pretty early, actually.
Yeah.
Well, of course it's an anime. Of course
they cover the source material very faithfully. I'll say that, and it's very well animated. I think Wit Studio people did Attack on Titan did that, and the music is incredible. It's
see. All right, so I'm going to tell you what's going to happen then.
Anime of the year.
What's going to happen is I'm not going to get caught up in Vinland Saga, because the truth is I like reading a manga, but I've always been like I like seeing the full visual. I love watching an anime generally. I like the whole experience. Yeah. So what's going to happen is I'll watch the anime and I'm like, oh man, so I don't know. But I'll tell you what, I haven't picked up Vinland Saga in a while, so maybe I'll check it out. I once again got a bunch of shows. I got my Funimation.
I'm recommending you everything in the world, and
and I got to rewatch a bunch of old shows, man. I started rewatching Samurai 7 again. It was good.
Nice.
Still pretty classic.
My question would be like, what do you think about the farmland? The people call it Farmland Saga at a certain point.
Farmland Saga, is that like just when they're on the farm working?
Yes.
Is one of the things in the community online people bitch about?
Very divisive. That part of the story is very divisive.
I liked it. I mean, okay, it's not like your typical. All right, I thought it was like, you know what? Both characters go different directions, and I thought it was great growth, because he's just an angry badass. He gets humbled. His priorities change. His beliefs change. I actually thought it was fantastic for his character. He doesn't want to be a warrior anymore. The whole thing is about the whole concept, very much like certain Kenshin or Vash Stampede related characters, is I want to like make a difference in the world and be a warrior without taking a life, because life is precious. What a beautiful concept. So I actually no, I really like that. I don't care.
I agree. A lot of people out there criticize the farmland part of it, but I think for his character, especially because prior to that, his character was kind of not the greatest. In my opinion,
Thorfinn was just an angry kid. I'm going to avenge my father.
He was an angry kid. That was really the prologue to his story, the first part of Vinland Saga.
But that got people hooked, probably. Got me hooked. I mean,
I put the prologue up there with the Golden Age arc.
Shit. What was the name of the one character that died though? I can't spoil it. His mentor figure, like that surprised me actually, because he seemed.
Well, that's the death I was talking about.
Yeah, because I don't want to say it. Yeah, that character that died, like that character, he was in the manga for such a long time. I thought that he's gonna be and I appreciate that when a death you don't see coming, like wow. So
he's my favorite character in Vinland Saga.
Yeah,
because he's incredibly complex.
He's a bastard.
He's an awful human being. There's no denying that he's a terrible person.
He's a terrible person, but he has a very interesting way of rationalizing.
He's so like enthralling and charismatic, and reasonable, understanding, that like you can understand where he's coming from, like the world that they live in. The Vikings. He was raised, the life that he chose. You can kind of get where he's coming from, and he has redeeming qualities like his love for his country, his home country, and the fact that he was willing to protect it. And during the end, he basically sacrificed himself for the sake of both his country and for the sake of Canute.
That is true. He's still a bastard, though.
He is. There's undoubtedly slaughtering the freaking. I'm just saying it. I might as well say at this point, you guys have been spoiled. I'm talking about fucking Askeladd.
Look. If Askeladd if they found out at this point, listening 4 hours in, that's dedication to my subscribers right there.
That's true.
Like what the?
How do we reward you by spoiling you?
I know. Sorry for people that really, but seriously
No,
though, that was something.
Askeladd is amazing. I love his character, man. He carried the prologue, in my opinion. Because like he has like even something subtle like earlier on when he's talking about everyone is a slave to something when talking about the new slave and talking about and kind of like paralleling that with Thorfinn and his slavery to his ambition and his anger towards him. It's just
It's
they
true.
really touch on a lot of really powerful themes there, and he's working on a totally another level, man. I love Askeladd so much.
Askeladd was pretty great. Yeah, no, I also really like
Bjorn. Oh my god! In the anime, the duel with Bjorn is so. I cried, and I already read it, and I still cried. Oh, see, I'm telling you, I already read the manga. You know I have. I've recommended it for years, guys. I'm not just new to this, and the anime just hit me just as hard.
I'm sure the anime is good. I'll have to check it out at some point. It's another thing on the.
Please check out the opening. Oh, so good. So goddamn good.
All right, man. Well, I
probably
think,
wrap it up.
yeah, I'm being summoned to being messaged like Joe. It's 4 a.m. So okay, no, it's okay. I knew, dude. We haven't talked in like 2 years.
Yeah, man, it's been
Crazy.
a while. It sucks. We got to do this more often.
Now we'll try to make it happen more often. I'll try to get you on here again. At some point. I hope that your channel is okay, your new channel at least, or whatever.
Yeah, so far no strikes. Thank God.
So yeah, send me the link for that, and I'll post that in there. I got to promote your new channel, and
I appreciate that.
Oh, of course, anything. And at some point, I'm going to try and get more people on here because I want to do more podcasts, especially while this is going on. But I also would like to try and see if we could try to get like a group one together and get some other on the Phantom group again.
Yeah, absolutely. I'd be down 100%.
So I'll have to try it. We'll try and coordinate, but we'll try to make it happen, man.
Absolutely. I appreciate you inviting me on. I had a really good time. Time flies. We're talking for like 5 hours or 4 hours.
Oh man.
We barely talked about One Piece. Look at that.
Well, I remembered specifically like you like One Piece, but I didn't want to. But I remember every time you'd come on, you'd be like, "Look, I talk of One Piece enough. I want to talk about something else."
Yes, it's true. I love One Piece to death. But yes, it is fun coming on here talking about Star Trek. I never get a chance to talk about Star Trek, and about some of these games. So I had a blast. Hope you guys enjoyed it in the chat, man.
Oh yeah, no, everybody. Thank you for watching, Zoro. Thanks for coming on. I'll try to get you on again. Let's try to do it quicker than last time.
Sure.
I think we could do that.
Next time I won't get you in trouble.
I'm not in trouble. I don't think. We'll probably am. We'll find out. All right, everybody. Stay magical.